welcome to the Tuesday show, and we are back to our regularly scheduled hosts here. Myself, of course, Mr. Ultra David, and Tubo Ware. How you feeling, Tubo?
I'm alive, baby. That's about it. I'm alive.
All right.
Okay, well, me too. We're all happy about that. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. We got a Tuesday show for you. We're going to be talking about...
Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you.
He can't hear us.
Okay, no. What happened was my mixer crashed. My audio mixer crashed. So the voice meter app that I have that I use for all the audio just crashes on me all the time, and I don't know why, and it drives me nuts. But there you go, it died. And now it's back.
All right, we just played the music again. What's up, everybody? Hey, how's it going? Hey, Toby, welcome back. How you feeling, buddy?
Thanks. You know, I feel swell. Couldn't be better.
That's fantastic to hear, and I'm also feeling fine.
Great.
And vaccinated. Let's
Me
talk
too.
about team vaccine. I know you were showing us the card earlier.
Yeah, I'm there.
Congratulations.
J&J.
I hope everybody else is getting it if you can, if that's available where you are. We have these news items to discuss. You could see there's some game news to get to, including from the Power Rangers and other stuff too. We're going to talk about WePlay. We're going to talk about other community news, some of which is great, some of which is bad news for sure. We have AFoxyGrampa on here, who's the guest. Looking forward to talking with him about playing, community, streaming, all sorts of fun topics like that. We're going to have interesting 5-5 matchup questions for you this week. We got some that I'm looking forward to getting to. Tournament results. We have a couple of upcoming things to talk about that will happen this coming weekend. And then on the mailbag, we actually don't have a Casmer this week. Sorry, everybody, but there's no Casmer.
Disappointing.
He's slacking out there, but we do have a couple of good ones otherwise. So thanks to everybody for that. But let's begin by talking about Power Rangers. I love it. Look at this pun we have on the right side, the whatever side of the screen you got here. I don't know what side it is, but check that pun out. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Talk about it. He looks dope. He looks pretty cool.
Well, first of all,
play
what are we talking about, Tubbo? What happened?
What do you mean? What happened? Ryu's in Battle for the Grid, apparently, in Chun-Li 2. Well, they showed a trailer, and Ryu is a Red Ranger of sorts, and I mean, he looks like TVC Ryu to me.
Ryu, the Crimson Hawk Ranger.
Yeah, sure, Crimson Hawk and
Chun-Li, Blue Phoenix Ranger. They're both in there. Yeah, there was a trailer that's showing off Ryu. Apparently, he'd been in the Power Rangers Legacy Wars mobile game before this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Chun-Li as well. Okay, cool. So it's not like the first time that there's a crossover between these two universes. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about how he looks. He actually looks, I think, super cool. I really like how he's animated well. His options look cool. What do you think?
I think he fits the game pretty well. Surprisingly well. There's already, some Ryu-like characters in the game. And he is full Ryu. Like I said, I think he reminds me of a TVC Ryu, probably, from what I was seeing. So, yeah, he looks dope. He looks really cool.
Yeah, the fact that the red firewall causes a crumple and then you can get a combo from, like, really far away is a pretty sick option. I mean, I haven't kept up very closely with the game, but, yeah, he is animated really nicely, and his combo routes look cool, and I don't know. I think it's great, man. What do you think about this, James?
I haven't had a chance to watch the trailer yet. So
okay, well, it's like a minute long.
I haven't seen it. Okay, well, I'll watch it right now, I guess. Did you link the trailer anywhere?
I sure did.
Okay.
There's also a Chun-Li that will be in there. It's not just Ryu.
Yeah, they teaser at the end of the trailer.
Only a teaser. That's always.
Ow, that was loud. Okay. All right, I'm going to watch this in silence here.
I mean, might as well put it on the stream if you're going to do that.
Oh, that's true, huh? Let's do that then.
I'll be gumdrop, James.
They don't DMCA based off of videos, right? So
yeah, more or less.
Oh, look at Ryu. He has a headband outside of the helmet. That's amazing, actually. Oh! He actually gets a ground bounce off of the overhead. Dude, that's amazing. I think isn't Shady K still on this project here?
I have no idea.
Well, he put a tweet out that it was kind of talking about, you know, how this was really cool to do. So I think so.
Oh yeah, nice. Though that'd be so cool if you're Shady K and you actually get to design a Ryu like this. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, that would be...
I think that would be hella fun. Like, that must be super exciting for him. I can't wait to see what he does with Chun-Li. Dude, some of these combo routes are sick, dude.
Right? Yeah.
He looks so interesting. Dude, they gave him a freaking ground bounce hop kick. Oh my god. I mean, what's cool about this is it really just kind of shows... One, by the way, the game looks really good. You know, remember when it first came out, it looked kind of jank, but now it looks really good. I mean, I'm talking aesthetically and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then also...
Yeah, it was kind of washed out at the beginning, and now it doesn't
Right.
look washed out at all. The characters don't look washed out at all.
And the other really interesting thing to me, too, of note here, is the fact that, you know, Ryu looks kind of broken in this, but... That kind of gives you an indication of where the game is as a game. Yeah. That Shady K is like, you know what? I don't care. Everybody's broken. Deal with it. And that's kind of the way the game has been for a while. So
yeah, everybody one touches.
Yeah, no, Clockwork is not on the team anymore. Clockwork definitely left. I remember him tweeting about that he had left the project. But apparently Shady K is still on there, and so he left it in good hands there. But yeah, it looks Ryu actually looks kind of sick.
Yeah,
okay.
I definitely agree with you. So looking forward to that. Did it say when that's happening? I actually now realized I didn't take a note.
Let's see, coming 5/25. It says here on the thing.
5/25.
Yep.
High five. Thank you
go.
very much. Hey, looks cool. Also, other game news to talk about. Good work again on the pun. Oh my, it's my Shiranui Mai in KOF15. Trailer came out for her last week. What do you think?
I mean, I think she looks sick. Like I said, I mean, you know where I'm standing on this. I think I didn't even think King looked that bad, right? So, and I think Mai looks excellent. I think she looks really, really cool. A lot of people seem to be happy with her getting some of her moves back and everything like that. But the most interesting part of this one is that they did not announce the team at the end of it, right? So usually after they do all three characters of a team, they're like, here's the team. There was no women fighters team announced. And so we've had Yuri, King, and Mai shown. Are they not on the team? So we're not sure what's happening exactly, what's going on with that situation there. But
wait a minute, what are you saying here, James? Are you saying that just because they're women, they all have to be on the same team?
I mean,
tisk, James.
That's just what they've been doing since '94.
And they told you that get ready to have your expectations shattered.
Hey, if
no more gender norms here, okay?
Got him.
I mean, it would be cool if they did that, because then they could put King, Yuri, and Ryo all on one team as the Art of Fighting team, and then Mai can jump somewhere else, and I'm totally down with that, so I'm all good. So let's do that. I mean, I'm all for the team shakeups. I like team shakeups in KOF if they can do some crazy ideas. So yeah. And the women's team has changed throughout the years. They've had different people on the team all the time, so maybe they don't need to have one this time. So
I thought the special effects were not the greatest.
Not greatest, and like Sam Show 2019 is not the greatest fighting game. Is that like the?
Not my favorite one. Honestly, I didn't think that she looked bad. I mean, in general, my position continues to be like, it's just not remarkably good or remarkably bad. It's just like not particularly of note graphically to me. So anyway, that's what I think. But I do think that it's cool that she's in the game. She can obviously be an interesting character. Big fan favorite. So that's great. As far as the last game news that I thought would be cool to talk about here, at the top of the show. Are you aware of Maiden and Spell? Are you aware of that game?
No, I have no idea what this is.
You have no idea what this is. Do you remember the game Senko no Ronde?
Yes, I do. Yes. Uh-huh.
It's a bullet hell fighting game.
Yes.
That's what we got. Maiden and Spell is almost exactly that.
You know what? I've had people tell me about it because I've mentioned Senke no Ronde on my streams before. So people have told me about this game now that you mention it. Yeah, it's been out for a while, right?
Right. So it came out on Steam a while ago, last year or maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's been out for a while. But I just wanted to bring it up again. I don't remember if we talked about it when it did happen. I think we didn't. But it's coming to the Switch. So they put a new trailer out just saying like, hey, heads up, everybody, it's coming to the Switch. It's a super cool game. It's very interestingly done. What's funky about it is that you can kind of get the sense that even though it's like all projectiles, right? Still some characters are like definitely the zoner. And some characters are like the pressure characters. Like it's really funny how they, even though it's all like little projectiles you shoot out, you can really express like fighting game archetypes even still. It's just a lot of fun. So
it's actually funny.
Check it out
In the chat,
John says, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, John actually said Maiden and Spell has rollback, and they didn't advertise it because they didn't realize it was a selling point.
That's hilarious.
They just thought, that's what online is supposed to be. But in the FGC, we have to use it as a selling point because so many companies have been garbage.
Dope.
It does look dope. I know.
Is there a trailer for it as well?
I put it in the.
Right.
Oh yeah, you should put this one on stream too.
Why have we not been playing this whole time?
I'll take a look at this.
You could have been playing this all quarantine, bro.
That would have actually been sick. Yeah.
I'm really upset. I'm upset with you right now.
Okay, well it's only $12.99, so if you want to play it, I'm 100% down.
Yeah, I put it on my wish list.
So the Switch,
I'll buy it after the show.
The Switch has it as well too for the netcode.
It's coming to the Switch.
Right.
Is there going to be crossplay?
There's not going to be crossplay. I looked into that.
God damn it!
Because I feel like
this looks so sick.
I think Switch would be the preferred platform for this, to be honest with you. Well, the Switch is the preferred platform for me for everything. Okay.
Yeah.
I just like sitting on the. Dang, this is very different than Senko no Ronde.
Yeah, it's not the same thing for sure.
Right, because Senko no Ronde is just freaking actual shmup craziness. You know what I mean?
There's a little story mode in it.
Just give me the net play, baby. Yeah, this looks ridiculously fun.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. Tubbo, we'll play it.
We will play it.
Does that mean nobody else is getting it on the Switch then?
Probably won't. Yeah.
Probably won't. I mean, it's $13. You know.
That's true. Yeah, and once we go back to living our lives in the meat space, maybe I'll get it on Switch so we can play it in person. There you go.
How much is it on Steam?
$12.99.
$12.99.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll think about it. There's a lot. I have to think about everything these days. Let's just put it that way. So it is not.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. Some interesting game news for you. Let's move on to the next one now.
So Senko no Ronde has no ability to be played. Actually, you know what? If it's on Steam as well, we could probably play it on Parsec. We could definitely play it on Parsec.
Dude.
That would actually be kind of sick. Oh man, because that game, like I said, like it's very different. Like it's interesting. They're the same but very different, which is neat to me because it's the whole concept of the same genre but lots of cool ideas with it, right? Because Senko no Ronde is literally just you guys are throwing ships and it's just you have power and you can like grow into giant things. It's more virtual on-esque in kind of a way, but I think that doing a parsec for Senko no Ronde might actually be kind of neat.
That sounds cool to me, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's cool? WePlay UFL Season 1 wrap-up.
That's correct. It has happened. So the WePlay Ultimate Fighting League Season 1 had one weekend of Mortal Kombat 11. It had one weekend of Soul Calibur 6, Most recently, it had a weekend of Tekken 7 all in a row. Now that's happened. So before we get to the results, did you guys watch much of it?
Of Tekken or of all of it?
Yeah, of all of it. Yeah, just let's talk about the whole thing.
I watched Mortal Kombat quite a bit. I didn't catch any Tekken and barely saw any Soul Calibur.
Okay.
But mostly Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I've watched the whole first day of Soul Calibur. Like I said, I'm still trying to catch up to everything, but just my ability to sit down and watch things is just non-existent these days. So I'm still trying to work on watching day 2 and day 3, which I heard are absolutely fantastic, especially because Milo's apparently did super well with Killick, and I want to steal shit from him. So
I would say, without being an expert in Calibur, I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
It was super fun. The matches were super, super close.
Right.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched all of the Mortal Kombat, a good chunk of Calibur, and a good chunk of Tekken. And Mortal Kombat's the game that I'm most invested in among those. So for me, like, I understood it in a different way than I did the other 2 games, which, like, I like watching and playing, but, like, I'm not great. I don't know that much about either one. So it was a little bit different experience. But I will say, like, no surprise, the commentary for Tekken was fantastic, naturally, with the folks that they had there. That was super great. So even though it's not something that I understand really, it's still something I really, really enjoyed. So that was cool. As far as the production, what do you guys think about the general production?
I mean, obviously the production is great. It's nice to have a budget.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, let's just put it this way. And, I'm not using any of these names for any particular reason, but like if the Hado had that kind of budget, like the kind of things that Rick could be able to pull off would be amazing. And, it's just, that's just really what it comes down to. Obviously their production is amazing, but if you're given the ability to do those kind of things, you're going to be able to produce, cool shows like that and everything. So, it's nice to see something like that, but I'll have a little more to say about that in just a little bit. I'll let Tubo and yourself say some, give your thoughts on it.
I mean, I thought the production was nice. I think they made some beginner mistakes, though. For example, they had an analyst table that, for what I saw, at least in Mortal Kombat, barely utilized at all. I feel like if you're going to fly people out and pay them money to analyze the action in front of you, you should use them a little more often. Maybe like even mid-set, if you can't find the time to get them in there, squeeze them in. It's important. Those guys deserve to be on camera too. I thought it was really funny that above the heads of the players said winner and defeat. I thought that was
defeat, like,
really,
right,
really funny, like kind of like cyberpunkish almost, like
yeah,
it was cool.
They're not trying to rub it in or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny to defeat.
Right.
Like, the guy has his head down, rolling up the controller.
Right.
Yeah.
It just seems like something you'd see out of a movie, so I thought that was funny. I enjoyed what I watched for sure. Commentary was good and everything, so it was cool.
Enjoyed it as well. I thought it was nice. I had the same feeling about the analyst desk. We basically saw them like in the morning and then before and after commercial breaks, which were not many, which is nice, but there weren't many of them. And then at the end, and so there wasn't a lot of screen time for some of the people who like I most wanted to hear from, unfortunately.
Right.
So I would have loved to have a little bit more of that. Like maybe have the commentators and the analyst desk switch in and out, have people take over different roles like throughout or whatever it was. But
Sure.
I thought that would have been nice. In any case, yeah, the people who were on the analyst desk were great. I enjoyed a lot of the commentary. I think that, what's nice is that they took chances on some people, and I think some of those people absolutely like did what they needed to do and really did well. I think some of the other people, you could definitely tell, like they took chances on them, right? And they're like hoping that it works out, and they're definitely new, or maybe even if not new, like unfamiliar with some of the stuff. So I would say that was in some cases an issue for me, but overall I really enjoyed most of the commentary. The matches were fantastic, which is obviously the biggest part. You just set up an invitation event with these players, and like it's going to be good. Like the players will give you good matches, as just always will happen. Like it's always going to be that way.
Right.
So they did. They provided the spot. Caliber was great. Mortal Kombat Grand Finals was extremely close. Tekken's results are super interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed most of it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you have the production, you have the ability to do that. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of drama involved with, you know, things that people were saying and everything on Twitter and in you know, in past interviews and such. And, you know, it's just one of the things that always just drives me nuts is just how much, like, whenever a group like this gets the budget and they're kind of tangentially involved with the FGC, or, you know, there's too many people out there that think that they can actually come in here and just like, they think they're the savior of the FGC. Like they're going to come in here and all of a sudden, oh, we're going to do things right. We're going to make the ones that FGC gets really, really big. And, you know, I just like, dude, like, it's not going to happen the way that they think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, at this point in time, I feel like that narrative needs to kind of stop. Like, they have to realize that that's not the way it's going to work, right? Because FGC is not one of those things that you're just going to throw a crap ton of money at and we're going to be like, you are our new savior. Yay! You know what I mean? Like I said, I've always joked that, you know, if Rick was like, hey, I'm gonna run a tournament on Mars, we would all buy a ticket to go to Mars, even if we would never come back, because it just takes too long, because that's how much we trust in him and things like that, and we know how much he does for the community, right? People have to realize on the especially, I don't know what it is, like I don't know what it is about people who are fully ensconced in esports that just makes it so that they feel like they're above the FGC. Like, we're here to save you. We're here to make you better. We're here to improve you. We can do it right. You know, no. Like, the FGC has been doing our shit our way for a particular reason, you know, because it's what we like and it's how we want things to happen. And I just think that there just needs to be a stronger drive to support that. You know what I mean? And like I said, maybe I'm making more of a big deal out of it than I think I am, but the message is very clear that you see repeatedly from people very heavily ensconced in esports is, we can do the FGC better, we can improve it, they should do it this way, they are doing it wrong, they're doing it wrong, they're doing it wrong, and that shit just needs to stop because I'm so fucking sick of it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm so fucking tired of that narrative, dude. Seriously. Like, it needs to stop. Like, we appreciate them coming in here, putting on a good production, but don't try to act like the freaking savior. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. So,
yeah, I think I broadly agree with that point for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely happy to have outside groups come into the FGC and put on good tournaments, put on good shows, like whatever it is. As I have been happy to have, you know, ESL in the past, or Red Bull, or whatever. Like, there's examples that I think have done really well, and that is something I'm certainly super cool with. And I like that everybody who went to the WePlay events had positive things to say about it. Like, all the players who went, all the commentators who went, who I've talked with or who have talked about it, all have positive stuff to say. So that's really good. Obviously important. And when I was researching WePlay before they had done this stuff in the FGC, I asked other people from other scenes where WePlay has been for years now. Like, are you aware of them having like not paid out, or like being weird with rules, or whatever it is that like makes for a bad esports event? And none of them were aware of that stuff. So, you know, the way that WePlay put on these tournaments this time seems like it's in line with that. I don't know what the payment situation is of the players, but it's not really something that I'm worried about, just given that history.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that is how it pans out. That said, I also agree with you that having something like WePlay in there, again, ESL, Red Bull, whatever it is not like a transformative thing in the FGC. Like it's nice to have for sure. Absolutely welcome them as long as everything's going well. But what we want in the FGC is yes, to have this invitationals, big money, fantastic. Also to have open tournaments, the grassroots side. Like it is super important to us to have all these things.
Right.
And I think that's true for everybody. Like there are some people who would rather have more invitationals or who would rather have more grassroots. But like it seems at this point that most people want both, right? That we can't have none of it. And as far as the way that the grassroots stuff is run, like it just has to be run differently than something like a big company that comes in that has, you know, funding. FGC events like rely on venue fees and they rely on getting sponsors, and those sponsors tend to be smaller, and sometimes they're big, but the money that they give might not be huge. And so it's just a completely different budget situation. And it strikes me as something that's just not really analogous. So, you know, if WePlay does something one way, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it. That doesn't mean that that's how other FGC events should do it. Nor does it even mean that that's possible or that is at all financially viable for almost anybody, right? Like even for the big ones that have been in there, like Red Bull put on some super sick tournaments, but I would very much wager that WePlay spent a lot more money than what Red Bull did on.
I just want to make it clear. James Banks and WePlay, David and James, they don't represent me. Okay, I know I've heard what you guys are paying commentators. Please bring me out. I'm also a great stage host. I mean, I have several years of examples and experience. So please, by all means, contact me. I'll
can't even finish the sentence.
To Kiev, and I mean, I'm just saying.
Look, the whole thing about it is, again, this is not necessarily representative of the entire WePlay event, and I love what Red Bull has done in the past because they always come along and they're trying to enhance what we've already done. But, obviously certain individuals were talking about, we're going to, basically turn the FGC into something huge. And, I've been, a top player after playing a game for 2 years and things like that, and like, I'm going to help save the FGC. And look, it's just one of those things that, you hear that and it's a red flag, right? I mean, at this point in time, like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad about any particular individual, but you have to know how that sounds and you have to know the audience that you're talking to, especially if you badmouth someone like the Hado, especially if you badmouth someone like Rick, who is like the most beloved member of our community. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to know what's going on. And Rick has said he's spoken with them and they've ironed things out or whatever like that, but it's just at this point in time, it's like you have to know what you're doing. You have to know. It just shows a disconnect, right? It shows that disconnect that if you're coming in here and you're saying you're going to save or you're going to improve the FGC, and then you have that kind of unawareness to talk smack about the Hado, like, it's just like, what is happening over here at this point? It just feels weird to me. So that's all. That's my biggest complaint about the whole entire thing. So,
What were you saying, Tubbo?
I just said it's kind of like a god complex. Like, they can come in and boom, we made it all better,
Right.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's weird. It happens. It's weird that happens to us over and over again too. It's so strange that everybody thinks we're broken and we don't need to be fixed.
Right, exactly. That's the.
I think that's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are things that I would like to see changed. I would like for players to get more money, etc. People in production to get more money. So there's stuff that I want to be improved, as I know that you guys want to be improved too, and not just those things. Like there are things to fix in the FGC, but maybe not in the things that WePlay did are not really reproducible. They're just not. They're not like lessons that anybody else can learn because that kind of money doesn't exist anywhere else.
Exactly.
So, also the idea that so obviously we're talking about James Banks. I don't mean, I'm not gonna rip on him either because my interactions with the guy have always been nice. I think it's very funny, the story about him having done well in a Virtua Fighter event because that's great. I'm happy that he played fighting games. It's also hilarious that he got second place out of 6 people at an event that nobody else went to. That like it was the same weekend as Evo. That is very. It's just I wish that he had gone about it in the way of like, here's a funny story that like is about how I played fighting games seriously like, for a while. That would be a very funny story to tell it that way, right? And like it's humanizing. We've all kind of been there. We've all entered tournaments that are small. I have too. So I wish that was how he had talked about it rather than how he did.
Right.
Again, I don't think that's a very big deal. Just think it's funny.
I mean, it was just the way that it was used as a means to say, I'm fighting game player and I'm like, I know what to do to save the FGC. Like, that's just the part that bothers me. You know what I mean? And it's frustrating. I haven't had a lot of, I may be burning bridges here or whatever like that, but it's just, I just wish that narrative would stop because you see it too often. There's this weird divide between the greater esports and fighting game community, and it just feels like everybody in the greater esports feels like they can fix us and they can save us. And, it's just, that's the narrative that I get all the time. And like Tubo said, we're not broken. There's, it's not, there's greater, and even if we are broken, we're not broken in the way that they're going to fix us by magically throwing money at us. Our problem in the FGC is far greater than that. You know what I mean? Because it's literally just a how do we get more people to play fighting games issue. Because if we had the potential to attract the audiences that they think making a big production will generate, we'd already be there. The issue with the FGC is far greater than event production value. There is a greater overall problem of the FGC that we need to solve if we want to grow into that level. That's not, having money at our events and production is not going to solve the problem.
Homie.
What's that?
Way over time. We got to move on.
Yeah, but it's not going to solve the problems that we have. So let's just put it that way.
Again, I'm happy to have somebody like WePlay in here doing cool things for the scene. I think that's great. And I just think the story about VF is just funny. Like to me, that was very humanizing. So anyway, we didn't talk at all about the results. Let's just do it super briefly. Although it was actually really cool. Arslan Ash won it with Zafina. A Weiss Honey got second with Akuma and Negan. So shout outs to Pakistan. They're the best. All right.
Yeah, Pakistan clearly the best.
They're the best. All right, cool. You want to move on here?
Yeah. All right.
So there's a little bit of other community news to talk about here. There's not a lot. You guys at home might have noticed, but there's actually not a lot of news this week. Not a whole lot. But here's a little bit of it. The Twitch. You guys know it. If you guys have been on twitch.tv, it's a website that broadcasts video games, among other things. And it has an updated code of conduct. And I think this is of note because this code of conduct says that it's going to take action even where people aren't actively like streaming on Twitch as they do something in cases of extreme behavior. So this is something it's been a problem on Twitch. Some quite notable folks on the platform, streamers on the platform, have had problems outside of Twitch. That is to say, like when they're streaming, they might not be doing bad stuff, but then they'll like close the stream and go do bad stuff, and bad stuff that's to a substantial degree. So that's been a criticism of Twitch for quite some time now, and I am happy that they're actually doing stuff about that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's cool to be more clear about what they're going to do and how they're going to punish actions that they don't agree with, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. So yeah, I'm all about transparency. I think it's a good thing.
I mean, I feel like that's just, it's all part and parcel of the path, right? I mean, that's like, it's like when we tried to do the FGC code of conduct, right? We're not trying to be like tyrannical. We just want to make sure people aren't assholes. And I think that's just kind of, I think that's just kind of what it is, really.
Yeah, like earlier it had specifically banned like the Confederate flag and hateful images and stuff like that. Like that's good. That only happened a few months ago, but that's good. So it is on. It's on what I think is a good path too. Yeah, I think that's fine. Like ultimately, it's a private service, and they can kick out whoever they want. It's not like a free speech issue or anything. There may be the argument that major sites maybe should be regulated in some ways. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about some stuff, at least, although maybe not in this instance. But in any case, that's not the law right now. So they can kind of make it happen how they want to. And I'm glad that they're at least seeming like they're beginning to take that more seriously, because it definitely has been an issue in the past. I didn't mean to put these two things right next to each other, but Nairo has returned to streaming. Although not...
By the way...
I actually didn't think about that until right now. But not on Twitch. On YouTube. We've been talking about Nairo and the sort of saga around his case, where he was banned last year, as many other people were, for events that he alleges, and that it seems like people are coming around to the idea of agreeing to, that were more like he was the victim than the perpetrator. I continue to not have a position on this, to be clear, but that's kind of the trend that the community's gone towards, certainly. So he put out a video, as we talked about, a few weeks ago or so, saying that he'd like to return to streaming, and now he's doing that. In doing that, he got over 25,000 viewers the very first time, and that was on YouTube live. YouTube live. We're not even talking about Twitch, which has bigger numbers for live stuff. So he is back. If you guys are interested.
Nope.
As far as
can't say I am.
Okay, well, fair enough then. As far as other community news, this is definitely some bad news. So I'll put this up in the chat. And I'll put it up on YouTube as well. But the people who made mass sticks have had some really unfortunate stuff happen. If you're not aware of what a mass stick is, MAS stick, these were extremely important to the early FGC in like early 2000s, even to late 2000s.
Marvel 2 community for sure.
Marvel 2, basically, honestly, anybody who wasn't playing in the arcade at that time. Marvel 2, CVS 2, Third Strike, other games too. I mean, it was a big deal. And you still see people playing on those in some cases. The Marvel 2 community probably most famously now, but still, when I go to events and there are people there who are like my age and older, I absolutely see a mass stick like every time I go somewhere.
I'm pretty sure John Choi still uses a mass stick.
I believe he does. Yeah, so they were these big, bulky sticks. They were quite tall. They were all American parts, so not the kind of little ball joystick that is ubiquitous nowadays, but the bat top of American stand-up cabinets. Anyway, I had one. I certainly had one. I still have it. It's in my parents' house, and it played a huge role in the FGC. So the bad news here is that the people who made those sticks were just doing it in their garage. It was just a little home business.
Yep.
You kind of had to know who was around, how to get one, right? Word was not really out very big on it. And it was Thao and Reynalda Wen. And they have had a tragedy happen. So there was a house fire that killed Reynalda and severely injured Thao. And they have 2 kids. The 2 kids are okay, but now they're missing their mom, and their dad is hospitalized still, as far as I'm aware. Had critical injuries. So there's a GoFundMe for them. It's something that I'm supporting for sure. They played a really big role in the FGC, and now I understand that it's in such a different place. We have mass-produced sticks that are really good. We have had them for a decade now, but for so many years we did not, and this was really the way to have a stick.
Yeah.
So for me, they were hugely important.
Yeah, I mean, what Tao and Lin had managed to do for the community, I mean, we've often told the stories back in how Evos would get delayed because everybody was trying to borrow Justin's joystick. And that's because it was the Mas stick. It was the only person He was like one of the only people that had a Moss stick, and it was designed to be just like our arcade joysticks. And a lot of times you would have the really tight springs so that it would basically take like a tiny ton of like muscle power just to use. We had the old concave buttons and everything like that, but you know, a lot of the Marvel players would be used to what their arcade did, right? And so obviously Justin would tune his joystick to be just like the one that was at Chinatown Fair, so everyone wanted to borrow that one. And so like half the times at the tournaments it would be like, Justin, you're up. I can't. Yipes is using my controller. Justin, you're up. Can't. Chris Matrix is using my controller. And then you know, this person's gonna use it after he's done for their match, so they're waiting on, you know, Yipes. Chris Matrix is waiting on Yipes, and after he's done he's gonna use the joystick, and after he's done then I can play. Like that was literally what it was. And they were the first people who gave us quality joysticks at home. You know, they were expensive. They cost a lot of money to especially for us back then, you know, just being a bunch of arcade junkies and stuff like that, you know, but the people who invested in it, it made a big difference. I mean, we didn't have TE sticks, and nowadays we have like 7 bazillion options, you know, for joysticks, and we didn't have that back then. Literally, I have bought maybe like 10 or 15 different joysticks that have all died in like the span of anywhere from a week to like 3 months, you know, just from use, you know, and Moss sticks were the only ones that actually were of any quality. And I've never actually gotten one. I've never had a chance to meet or work with them, but what they managed to do for the FGC and their influence on the FGC, you know, as the creators of the Moss stick, you know, Tal and Lin it's immeasurable what they did for the FGC back then. And so like hearing about this like really hurt, really cut close, you know, to the heart and stuff. So, and it's it's if you can help them, you know, please do, if you can.
For me, it was important, not just in the sense that I had one. I mean, I was mostly an arcade goer at that time, but I had one just to practice on Dreamcast and stuff. It had a big impact on how I designed my own sticks when I started doing that, which was not that much later, maybe about a year later after I got a Moss stick, I started to design my own. Mm-hmm. And the first one that I made was in fact, it was bulkier. It was even wider and taller than the ones that they had. It was this huge slab. And I liked it because it felt very substantial, right, in a way that the Moss stick did. Now I have these tiny little sticks that move back and forth on my lap really easily, and that feels supernatural to me now. But it felt terrible when I first started to play at home. Right, I needed to have that like real solid, immovable kind of feeling that the Moss stick
rock in my lap.
Absolutely right. Like I wanted to know that I could do what I did while I was playing on cabinets, which, you know, I wasn't being a jerk. I wasn't like shaking the cab or whatever, but like we all kind of really put our bodies into playing, especially on American parts. And we did.
Yes.
And you could do the same thing with Moss sticks. So I had that same kind of theory when I started designing my own stuff. Took years for me to get disabused of that. Anyway, they had a really big impact on the FGC. So please support if you can. I know it's a tough time for everybody, but if so, I have put the GoFundMe into the chat, and like I said, I will put it in YouTube as well. Yeah, sticks were on the floor, absolutely. Yep. Or you would be sitting in a chair, and you would bring up another chair in front of you and put the Moss stick on the chair in front of you. And you still, like I said, you still see that. So if you next time you go to a major and you see somebody who's like my age or older, check out how they're playing, and if there's like a Marvel 2 section, if there's a CBS 2 section, whatever, something like that, good chance that somebody still has a Moss stick and that they're still playing on the floor or in the chair in front of them.
I wonder, because like John Choi has been playing on a lot of those the Fightcade events recently.
Parsec.
I wonder if he's actually been sitting on the floor and playing there.
Oh, 100%. Of course he's sitting on the floor. Yeah. I didn't have any doubt. When I see him there playing in Wednesday Night Fights and stuff like that, absolutely he's on the floor. Yeah.
I mean, again, you know, I've told the story very famously of how I used to play on the floor when Street Fighter 4 first came out, because playing in a chair felt really, really odd to me because, yeah, like you said, when you hit up on the joystick, you don't want the whole thing to move. When you're on your lap and you hit up, the joystick actually moves with you, and it's kind of weird. And so I would sit on the floor until one tournament that took place in the parking overhang outdoors of somebody's apartment building, and there was gas stains all over the floor, and I couldn't sit, and so I had to sit in a chair, and I could barely play, so I just learned to play that way. I actually sat down, was like, I'm going to teach myself how to play this way just so I can play no matter where I go.
I play on the floor.
You still do play on the floor? I play on the floor.
So does Coach Steve.
Yeah, okay, I guess I've seen him do that too. I play on the floor, but maybe in a different way. I play on the floor lying completely flat on my back.
I think you're going to do that in a tournament.
The little split box on the side. I would absolutely... that would be great if I could do that in a tournament. No tournament has enough space for me to do that, but that would be super sick.
Have you ever thought about investing in those glasses that let you see like downwards while you're lying down so that you could literally just...
You mean periscope lenses? James, I can go get the pair that I have for you on the break. Absolutely, I got a pair of those.
And have you done that? Have you actually laid flat back and played that way? Dude.
Of course. Of course I've done that.
David is playing fighting games in 2050 while we're all still playing fighting games in 2021.
Here's a setup that I do actually not uncommonly. I'll have periscope, so I'll be lying down on my back. I got periscope lenses, and I have a little sort of thing that wraps around the head, and it has these arms that jut up, and you put your phone in it, and it's kind of like holding the phone in front of your head. So I'm doing the absolute minimum amount of any energy expansion at all.
Dude,
I'm looking at the screen through periscope lenses, and it's being held in front of me by robot arms.
You need to send me a link for those robot arms, because I swear I'm getting carpal tunnel from holding my phone too much, you know. So if you're gonna have to help me with that.
Tubor, you know it's genius. What are you doing skulking at me over there?
You know, I'm much larger than you, but you're way lazier than I'll ever be. It's incredible. It's incredible.
But the lengths that I've gone to be lazy. Do you understand how many hours I've put into split box design? It's got to be many hundreds at this point. Over the last probably 4 years of designing, I've put in so much work to be a lazy slob. All right, I've earned it. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all for this. Again, please check out the GoFundMe if you can. The link, like I said, is in the chat, and it is also underneath in the YouTube if that's what you're watching right now.
Yeah, and again,
all right.
Thoughts and prayers to obviously for their family. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible news. Terrible news. All right. Cool. Let's take a break then.
Sure.
Yeah,
so what we're gonna do is bring on AFoxyGrampa. And we're going to talk with him about interesting stuff. That's right. You can see it below right here. It's going to be cool. Stick around for that.
I'm not doing it again. You already ruined my comedic genius.
All right. Just ask, to get into the chat and everything. So.
Yeah, I pinged him.
Okay. And I'm trying to find my phone.
What's up, bro?
Gentlemen.
What's going on?
Oi.
Ah, that's so loud. Ow.
What the fuck?
Sorry.
You're killing us, Jake.
Sorry. I don't know why that was so loud.
Where'd David go?
Probably went to go grab some food or something like that, you know.
God, he always eats on stream. What a jackass.
Thanks for joining us. I know you're What time is it for you over there?
It's 2:30.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's basically afternoon for me. I'm nocturnal, so it's fine.
Yeah, because you're always in our chat, right? You're always watching, and it's like always so late at night for you over there. So yeah, thanks for coming on. I mean, it's cool.
No worries. Yeah, it's normal that like players over here are up late. if they're traveling over there, I guess.
Yeah, and frankly, none of us have any normal sleep schedules anymore anyway, right?
Yeah, true.
So,
Speak for yourself.
But even before,
I have a day job, all right?
fair enough. So actually, oh well, I mean, I guess I should save this question for the actual interview. So never mind. I was about to. It always happens during the break. I always start asking all the questions that I should save for the interview and stuff. So.
right.
Man.
Hold back.
Oh boy, all right. Now let's see if David's coming back here. And you posted your OBS Ninja link. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Copy link.
Am I good to click watch stream in Discord, or should I do it on there?
Yeah, you can do it either way. Actually, if you do it on Discord, you'll see everything in real time. So that's probably better, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
it's a little better.
Yeah. So, oops, the song has ended. Let me start it again until David returns.
He's definitely pooping.
And bam! There. Look at that beautiful face. What's going on,
Hello.
dude? It looks like you're wearing a toga, dude. It looks like you're.
Oh no, I've got something.
Oh,
special
okay.
here.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Something special, eh?
Yeah.
Oops, hang on a second. One more thing. I got it too over here.
David, how was your poo?
All right, if you guys are done, we can get started.
Jesus.
I don't think you heard Tubo's question, did you?
Me?
Yeah. He said, "How was the poo, dude?"
How dare you? How dare you? I'll have you know that I went to go get some shells.
Of course. What is that?
It's homemade pasta shells containing... We'll find out!
All right, fine. Okay.
Find out. Okay.
All right.
Hey, I thought James was supposed to be reading your fan fiction.
Oh, maybe we have time for that today.
Well, not at the pace we're going.
Okay. All right.
We've been over on every topic by a lot.
All right.
You are.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Born ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ultra Chen TV. Oh, I just jumped right into the interview screen. Oh, dear Lord.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us back on the Ultra 10 TV Tuesday show. As you can see, we have a special guest. It's AFoxyGrampa down there. Before we get into this, can you tell me what time it is and when you woke up?
It's 2:30. When did I wake up? Probably like 11 a.m., something like that.
11 a.m.
It wasn't too bad today.
Dude, I watch you stream at hours that are totally normal for me. And then I also see you sometimes in chats of other shows, other people's sometimes, at hours that are late for me. And I'm always like, when are you awake? How does this make any sense?
It changed a little bit recently. The gym opened the other day, so I need to be up earlier. So I'm up at 11 a.m. as opposed to being up in the afternoon now.
Well, congratulations
Yeah, you're
to you
right.
on that.
I am normally on some,
Oh, man.
some like pretty demon hours.
Yeah, that's how it seems. Well, you got a good friend in James, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, like, I swear if it was just the opposite direction, for example, when I actually do commentary for the Salt Mine League, like, I have to wake up way too early to do that. If it was like Japan, I could probably do that. Oh, man.
It's just time zones. It's like when I travel to America, easy. It's just living on easy mode if I want to be in the day.
Oops, hang on a second. You're looking a little
Oh, your face is going wild over there.
purple over there. There you go.
Okay, so what we wanted to talk about is a bunch. We want to talk about playing and your play style and the scene and streaming and all that sort of stuff. But before we get to any of that stuff, talk to me about like your origins in fighting games. How did you get involved in the FGC? How did you start taking games seriously?
Right. So my first tournament was after MK9 came out. It was down to MK9. So
Okay.
before the game was coming out, I've always been an MK fan. It's like my number one franchise. So before MK9 was coming out, I was literally glued to YouTube all day, just repeat watching the trailers of the characters. And then the game came out. I played it enough that my thumbs fucking like calloused up, so I had to have tape on my thumb. And yeah, I was not messing around. I was playing some Mortal Kombat at that point in time, and then I went to my first tournament, won it, and then from there I just kept on winning. And then I was like, yeah, may as well just stick about. Like, made some friends, and it just keeps going on. It never seems to end, does it?
And wait, so does that mean you've been a top player since the beginning? You don't have the origin story of I found out I was bad. No, you came straight in and were winning right from the get-go.
I came in with the battered thumbs ready. I'd already been through enough of the trenches of grinding at that point. I was sweating that game.
So how long had you been playing that game before you then entered a tournament?
No, maybe. I can't imagine it had been more than a couple of months, and it was only down the road. It was, the Dragon Twins.
This fucking guy comes here.
Genius.
I played it for a couple months.
Yeah.
I won a tournament. Haven't really lost sense. I'm just the best.
It was the perfect story. I won my first tournament. I met Problem X at the same tournament. Problem was doing the same thing I was doing.
Story.
And met the Dragon Twins. You know, the Mark and Rich that like run the events and stuff. Like, I met a lot of people there, and then eventually by the next event met Ketchup and Mustard.
So everyone in your local scene hates you then, right? 'Cause you came out winning.
There's
got to be guys who have been playing since like UMK3, you know?
Yeah.
And then this kid just comes, plays online for a couple
really.
months and beats me.
I feel like it was all fresh in the UK. It was like mostly just.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, we don't really have any old heads like that. I don't feel. I feel like NRS kind of sparked it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how it is in the US too. We definitely had players who were playing previous MK games, but like 95% of the MK scene started in MK9 for sure. Like, it was very, very small before that. All right, you genius. I was playing for years before I went into tournament. I don't remember how long. It was years though. How did the name come about? Tell me about the origin.
I was gonna ask that. Like,
yeah, I made it when I was 12, and so I was playing Halo, and I wanted a funny name when I killed someone, because you know how it comes up on the kill feed. You were killed by AFoxyGrampa. It's off of SpongeBob. Hold on, I've got.
What? It's a SpongeBob.
I've got the hat. Shit. Hold on. It's a SpongeBob reference, yeah.
It's fine. I mean, this matches our normal production value, so it's all good. So.
Alright, hold on. See this? Alright, someone in the chat is going to recognize this. You see?
It's actually just a SpongeBob reference, huh?
Yeah.
Dang, that's funny.
All right.
Oh man, I never would have.
I'm looking up the picture now, and yeah.
Yeah, just search AFoxyGrampa. It's spelled differently, but that's the reference.
Dick.
So from right away in competitive games, you were out there to try to troll people. That was actually day one for you.
I mean, not right away, because before MK9, I was a Halo player, and I was trying to be like stick at Halo. I was decent, but I wasn't like top. But I wasn't trolling people in that. I feel MK9, it's just there was too much power. Like, I'd broken the game down to a point where I could simplify it and then make my opponent play by rules A, B, and C. I think that's kind of the way I see it. So what do you want to pick? A, B, C, and just keep doing something like that at that point.
So, I mean, considering then, I mean, obviously we're joking about this journey of yours from being a top player to a top player. But, I mean, in that time, though, and sorry, let me refresh your camera over here again.
Yeah, his camera. But it's not the camera, it's just... Dude, OBS Ninja is doing some weird stuff on my end, too, so it's not
yeah. So, I mean, my question to you then, though, is, you know, despite being very strong at the beginning, how much do you feel like you've grown as a fighting game player? And do you feel like, even though you started kind of doing well, that have you learned a lot of new philosophies and such about fighting games?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of philosophy to learn. I base a lot of my playstyle around my philosophy and just the way I live in general. Really, like the philosophy guides the way. So, in terms of fighting games, I've played every style that you can play, like in NRS games, pretty much, and I've been able to like analyze what's gonna work on who, and I think it's more just it's like you just keep learning over time. It's a never-ending journey. You're always going to learn something new, or there'll be a new game, and you're forced to learn something new. It's not a finite thing. I feel it's constantly evolving. It's like real martial arts. It's a constantly evolving sport.
Okay.
What is that philosophy? If you had to describe your philosophy that you say is, I don't just mean fighting games. What is this sort of larger philosophy that influences?
You said you live by this as well.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
There's a lot really. It's not just going to be one thing. It's like let's say, all right, okay, I'll say the philosophy of like accept death. All right, accept death, and then you can do whatever you want to do. Right, you'll do it without fear. So then you'll be able to do it a bit more like optimally, I guess, without having that in the back of your mind, something like that. But I think that's just something to do with how I am. I'm very calm. Like, that's just me.
Now, does that mean you feel like you play with like a higher risk play style when you play fighting games, that you're willing to go for like the Hail Marys?
Death.
That then also depends on the character though, because like I played Deadshot, and that when I was playing Deadshot, that was the philosophy for Deadshot, for example. This is legit. Is every percent counts. Am I just a bunch of pixels now?
Yeah. You're being Thanos snapped.
Yeah.
Death has come, I'm afraid.
Yeah. See, it was inevitable.
Yeah, because it's interesting to me. Sorry to interject, because I mean, just to add in a little bit to how your philosophy affects your gameplay. Like, I'm terrified of death, and I can feel that when I play fighting games. Like, I'm scared to take big risks, and like that's why when I was playing on a laggy monitor and someone would jump at me, like I would automatically block instead of like trying to anti-air and stuff. And it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, and really makes me go
I feel like if you're terrified of death, your strategy might not be right, because you should believe in your strategy. If your strategy is correct and you believe in it, the only thing that can falter is yourself and your execution of the strategy.
Dang, I'm gonna come away from this episode
I
reevaluating my whole life here.
But that's only if your strategy is correct, and you can only learn if it's correct by trying to apply it over a certain amount of time.
What if it's incorrect and you die?
Well, if it's incorrect and you die, you've already accepted death. You're fine in it. Just go on to the next one.
All right, fair.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, when I've seen you play,
you adapt.
Yeah, I see this in your play style. So, your previous characters you talked about, I can see that. I can see that right now as you're playing Sub-Zero and are okay with forward 2 into big risk and getting punished for it. Before that, you were very throw heavy, which is very punishable in MK11. That is how do you go about managing when to take the risks that could lead to death?
All right, so the whole throw heavy thing, the throw heavy thing comes from MKX, because people were mashing in that game, and throw beats mash, and the only thing you can do to stop that in that scenario is either unblock or jump or something, in which case you just do the mid. It's the basic. I'm always boiling it down to the basics, right? You have to do this or you have to do this. Either way, you're taking something or I'm taking something, but I could just play the safer half of that part every time, you see? So where am I going to logically do each one? I'm going to try and mix that up. But with things like subs forward 2, that's not as risky as it sounds, really. Like the grab, you will die for. You get down to crush and blowed. The subs forward 2, you're going to do more damage than they're going to punish you for. And the only things you can do, it's like what I was saying, you have to pick this or you have to pick this. Sub's overhead in that game is it destroys all the defensive OSs. It will beat jump. So they're the two main threats to the throw game. So it's all circled around that still. So if you want to jump my throw, you die. If you want to duck my throw, you die. Everyone wants to do both of those things all the time. And the only answer you have to that is stand block. And are people going to stand there and block in Mortal Kombat? I don't think so. So just forward to them. And a lot of the time they're advancing crouch blocking as well. It's great. It's a good move. Just do it. And if it goes wrong, what they're going to do, you're taking 40, they're probably taking 30 at most, but they have to be stand blocking, and in that case, the rest of the game is now open to you.
And I see this too in the way that you pick which options to use. So if you're not an MK11 player and you're watching this, Sub has this forward 2, which is a really fast overhead that is cancelable. You can do big damage out of it, but it's a bet. You can't hit confirm it by itself. He also has a really good footsie normal in back 1 that a lot of people use. That's like really good for whiff punishing. It's very effective. It can be hit confirmed into other stuff. You never use that, right? I mean, you are only using forward 2. So you talk to me about how you like boil down, even which of the character's moves to even use. When you played Lao, you barely used most of his options. It was forward 4, throw. I mean, down 3. Yeah. So how is it that you go about boiling down in that way?
Right. So Sub's back 1, I'm never using. It's a high. You're going to get mashed on in Mortal Kombat. Everyone knows this. Everyone's mashing all the time. But the back 3 has like it's a minor amount of difference in the range between back 1 and back 3. So if you space yourself better, the back 3 is going to be better because it will crush everything. Like you won't fail with it. You'll get the hit you're looking for. Whereas if you do back 1, they could just go under it and it could all go wrong. With Lao, it's like I was never doing forward 1, 3. The fast mid he's got, because the forward 1 by itself, your turn's over. The forward 1, 3, every option of it was unsafe. Yeah, it's a fast mid, but that just means that both sides of your option are now unsafe. Whereas if I did forward 4, I could confirm it. It was big damage if it hit. And then if they want to block, they can get grabbed or whatever, something like that.
Interesting.
So your playstyle overall, I mean, if you just had to encapsulate it, are you risk management or what?
I'd say theoretically it's anti-meta, but also meta at the same. Like, you can even see it with my character choices. Like, say 2016, Melina was kind of anti-meta. Like, she wasn't killing people off of 50-50. She was just playing a little, are you going to move forward or backwards here sort of game with her back 1. I don't really know if Deadshot was anti-meta. Maybe the way I played it was a bit unusual. Shang, that's another one. It's kind of anti-meta. It was like, I'm just going to play someone with an auto shimmy because everyone thinks I'm going to throw, The meta is throw in Mortal Kombat, so what you're going to do around it is now the game you're playing. So I wanted to play auto shimmy or overhead or just, keep away, something like that. I don't know. That was kind of long for your question, really, wasn't it? That wasn't the purpose, my bad.
No, it's all
No,
good.
dude, I think it's really interesting to hear you talk about your playstyle because it's one of the more unique ones. You will talk about your playstyle or about your skill or whatever. You called yourself WePlay an ass player. Like you'll say that stuff in public. And then whenever I've talked with you about it or like heard you talk about it, it's like this is actually your life philosophy. It's as like deep as it actually can get. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm just doing the overhead, no big deal. Like I
did a lot of overheads.
But so you're not out there just like doing whatever. You have thought about this.
I take a lot of philosophy from like martial arts and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Warriors and whatnot.
Was that
it's like Bruce Lee? It's like Bruce Lee said, isn't it? You fear not the man that practices 10,000 kicks one time, but the man that practices one kick 10,000 times. Right. You don't want to mess with him, do you? So
that's that Sub-Zero overhead, right?
I've done a lot of forward twos.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I know it's a forward two.
Well, I mean, did you get into a lot of this philosophy because of fighting games, or were you studying a lot of that even before Halo, even before fighting games and such?
I think most of it was I realized it myself and then stumbled on it upon it being spoken by somebody else, and then managed to make the connection.
Interesting. Okay. But was that during your FGC career or even prior to that?
Oh yeah, it would be because like
Okay.
I've been competing in fighting games for 10 years now, so that's like most of my adult life.
Yeah. And
So
actually,
it would be.
time.
I would like to ask, like, what would you say, like, can you tell people about the role that, like, Problem X has had in your career? Because for a long time, you were PXP AFoxyGrampa, right?
Yeah, AFoxyGrampa, yeah, Problem X Promotions. Yeah, he's basically like, yeah, Problem X is sick. Like, I can't say a bad word about him. He is like my number one supporter in the FGC, man. He believed in me during MKX. He was like saying, yeah, you're doing sick. I'm gonna send you to this tournament, and you're gonna do good. And like, he sent me to the tournament. That was SCR. Hold on, 2015, and yeah,
Did
I
you
won
just
it.
look
Really.
at the
Yeah, I
medal
did.
that's hanging?
No, it's a trophy. It's a trophy.
Actually did? Oh my god.
I've got too many, like, I've got too much, like, to hang up and
Look at this guy.
move around
Oh, I
now.
was good from the beginning. I've got too many medals in the room, you know. Oh my
Bro, I can
goodness.
count my medals on one hand.
Got one wall, two walls, and
Jeez.
a whole, like, that could be in a cabinet over there. It needs to be in a cabinet. It's, like, on top of her
I love
chest
it.
thing.
I love it.
Pile of trophies, yeah.
Yeah, big ass pile of trophies.
Like Scrooge McDuck.
Was that your first, I mean, ability to travel to these events? Was literally just, you know, Benjamin just saying, hey, I'm going to fly you out to this event?
He was, like, the one that basically just allowed me to go free and cause all the chaos, really. The first one for me was Evo 2012. You know, the one PL one the second time. Yeah, that one in MK9.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I passed out in the Vegas heat, like, because I'm diabetic, right? So I went used to the heat, and it made my blood sugars drop. Passed out, cracked my head, got 6 staples.
Jesus.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got 13th in that tournament. I missed an anti-air and got 100%ed by Cyrax. You know how it is in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-air.
That's crazy, dude. I remember you doing really well. I didn't know the story about you being injured before that, though.
Yeah, that's wild.
I survived.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, look, man, you went to Evo, didn't care about the heat because you know what? You know, you're just embracing death the whole time, right? So,
I didn't know it was coming. I'm from the UK. It's always grey here. That was something else.
You didn't have a strategy yet for Vegas Heat.
No, not at all. I learned.
In these days, we're playing MK11. We've been playing this game for coming up on a couple years at this point. Talk to me about how you think about this game.
I'm an MK fanboy first, honestly. So I'm just gonna whatever Mortal Kombat you throw at me, I'm gonna love it. Like it's just the way I am. I love Mortal Kombat. I love the universe of it. I like Mortal Kombat 11. I like Mortal Kombat X. I like MK9. I like all of the Mortal Kombat games. I'll play whatever they throw in front of me, and I'll make the best out of it. It's like what I'm doing right now. Like just finding whatever I can to amuse myself in the game.
Interesting. And the way that you play, I mean, philosophy wise, it's not about like character loyalty or anything like that, right? It's just pick what's going to help you win the best.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I could just play Cetrion or something. I see what is being played, and I normally tend to pick something that is a bit minor, like a little bit against the grain, maybe. I mean, I definitely do have some unusual picks, like Shiva and whatnot. I feel like I innovate characters in each game. So like I'll have a main, like I'll always play Kung Lao, and then I'll find some next character that nobody is using, like Melina. People weren't playing Deadshot that way. Shang in this game, Shiva in this game. and my variation of Sub-Zero is a bit wonky in comparison to the rest as well.
I mean, you played RoboCop at We Played Top 8.
Oh yeah, RoboCop, yeah.
But whose RoboCop is better, yours or Ultra David's?
Okay, thanks, Tubbo.
You can try it if you want.
Yes, I do want to see that. Absolutely, yeah.
We actually have played games online, even though we're so far apart. Not in MK, but we played in KI, and it was actually an okay connection.
KI.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. Shoutouts to KI.
Now,
Yeah.
No, I was just about to ask, like, you're a big fan of Mortal Kombat and stuff, but you've been talking about Deadshot and everything like that. So, do you enjoy the Injustice games as much as you enjoy Mortal Kombat, or it's mostly Mortal Kombat?
I'm not into DC comics in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I play Injustice because I'm just good at it. That's pretty much the way for me. But Deadshot was cool, but they nerf him. See, this is my problem with NOS games. I'm always going to get something nerfed. And I had the price.
I'm always going to get something nerfed.
I had to pay the price. I had to pay the price for playing Deadshot like that. So my time was limited, and Batman as well. But I feel like I was only part of Batman's problem.
Well, they nerfed Shiva Stomp.
That's fine, but the stance. Chun, the stance. Why they getting rid of stance? I mean, we demand justice for the. Oh,
yeah.
I've got something actually.
Oh yeah, you've been holding on to that.
Yeah, no, I was like, it looks like.
This is getting good out here. I've got Queen shirts. Are you seeing this?
Dude, I've been seeing that emote in the chat, dude.
Yeah, so hit me up if you want a Queen shirt.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this kind of brings in, now we're talking about the emotes in the chat. So you are not just competing at a high level at this point. You have a stream that's been very successful too. Can you talk about how it is that you got into streaming and then how it came to be successful?
I was just streaming because Shiva released, honestly, and I saw her back row and I thought it was hilarious. And then everyone else thought it was hilarious, and I was like, yeah, this is hilarious. So I was going to keep stomping people out, like back throw people to death. And then, yeah, people like that. I guess they must find me funny. Sometimes I say a funny thing or two. And then it just keeps, it's perpetual. Like, I keep good people coming to my stream. They're all funny. It's a good environment on Twitch.
Yeah, I lurk pretty often.
I think it's because I'm a Twitch stream monster myself, so I know how Twitch functions.
Oh.
And we just like chaos, like chaos and suffering and all that stuff in fighting games is what everyone wants to do. So I'm here to give it.
You definitely do, and you have some innovative ideas. Like, how is it that you came up with the idea, or maybe you at least, or the reason that I took the idea of having audio clips taken from things like in-game? Was that something you came up with, or did you see somebody else do that?
I've seen like Rio using Brady's soundboard and stuff like that, but I just like when people gamer rage at me. I watch gamer rage. I watch gamer rage on YouTube and stuff like that, and I've always noticed it's always the same ones. They're never really any new ones, but I cause a lot of it. So why am I not just gonna capture it? It's like it's gold. It's music to my ears.
Dude,
I'm
surprised you don't watch my stream when I play fighting games a lot more, dude.
I've watched your streams. I've watched you play Soul Calibur and stuff like that before.
Yeah, okay.
Street Fighter. But it's different. I think it's different when you're watching a stream and the streamer is raging compared to when the streamer is causing the rage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's different. I'm not really doing anything to them other than playing the game like a dick. So I'm playing the game like a dick, but I'm cool. Like I'm cool. Like you want to talk to me, I'm cool. But, if you can't handle my playstyle, then you're probably gonna get pissed.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really funny one for me to watch because I have the same proclivity. I also enjoy making people rage. Yeah, and it's nice because it's like I don't live that way in my normal life. So to have like the outlet of gaming as a way to be like, here's like my my jerkery. Tubbleware's giving me the eye right now, but I don't live that way in my real life.
I'm trying to think to
understand.
I'm even thinking
But
to myself, like, is that true?
But in gaming,
It's not James.
but in gaming, it's a really nice escape. How do you view like your kind of gaming personality, philosophy aside, your personality in gaming versus your personality in normal life?
Right. Well, if you know me in normal life, I'm cool. Like, I'm just cool. I'm easy to get along with. It's not too far removed. Like, I'll talk to the people in my stream like I'll talk to you in real life. If you're having a conversation with me, I'll talk to you like we are here. It's not anything drastically different. I guess on my stream, I'll roleplay my characters and stuff like that. That's a bit different. Like that is something funny to do. But if I was like with let's say my best mate, we'll do that anyway in a game. So it's just me being me, really.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the most, cool things that, I've learned just today is, just you do exude this very strong air of very calm, collected, and just, very what's the word I'm looking for? Just like very confident,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. If I put my mind on something, I'm pretty sure I can do it. Just gotta commit, just do it. That's pretty much it.
Nice.
James, I feel like if you went to your first tournament ever and you won it, you would have confidence as well. Like you'd be feeling pretty good about yourself.
I got third place to my two other people that I went with at my first tournament. Okay.
Pretty good. I definitely went 0-2 at my first one.
Oh man.
We talk a little bit about MK11 the game. How do you feel about the NRS scene in general nowadays?
It's a bit all over the place. I'm not really. I feel like there's a lot of ways to describe it. Really, it depends if you're talking about the Twitch side of it, the tournament side of it, the Twitter side of it. There's like multiple.
Give me all these angles, man.
areas. All right, okay. So the Twitter side of it. The Twitter side of it, you kind of mostly just want to say, yeah, they're just going to do whatever they're going to do and get in their little arguments. The Twitch side of it are all funny. They're all gods. You're all gods in the chat. Mortal Kombat on Twitch is hilarious. What was the other side? The tournament side. Tournament side they're all good people as well. Like I'm for the MK community. Like there's no reason for me to not be for the MK community. They haven't ever done me any wrong, and I'm not going to try and do them any wrong either. I think it's a great community. It's better than when I was like playing first-person shooters. It's different. I feel like we actually are a community here, even with all the bickering and whatnot. Over there, it's a bit more cutthroat and political. I think here you're here. Doesn't even matter how good you are. Who cares? Like, just do your thing.
Well, but as far as the tournament side as well, what are your thoughts on the competitive caliber of the scene nowadays? Do you feel like it's changed since you've been in the scene, or how do you feel about it these days?
It's changed. It's definitely changed. We've gone through. I normally think of it as like generations. I think we're like probably on generation 3 of players now. So it'd be like MK9 and Injustice 1, MKX and Injustice 2, now MK11 generation 3. So it's like 2 games per generation of players. So each new generation of players, you get the few that come in that they're now up there. So it's on the ones before it to either meet the level or ascend to stay on top. And I think that's why players like Sonic, Dragon, Rewind, myself, like each generation, we're still there because we're, I don't know, just stubborn or something like that.
Well, cool, man. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to watch you play over the years, and since we haven't really been able to have normal tournaments in the past year plus at this point, it's been really cool to watch you on stream too and see how that stream's going for you. It's been fun for me just as a viewer.
You were the sole reason I was watching WePlay Mortal Kombat. So.
Hey, nice one, man. Appreciate it.
You excited for the movie coming out here?
Yeah, I'm not really a big film watcher, but I'll definitely watch the MK film.
Nice.
That's what I'm saying. Just throw anything Mortal Kombat at me, I'll watch it. You ever seen MK Conquest, the live action series? Someone tell me one of you has watched that.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it just great?
Was it great? Maybe
Yeah,
not the adjective I would pick. I watched it.
Wasn't it just great?
It was great.
Now I'm like
Yeah,
wondering if you
Conquest
actually
for what?
like anything. You just if that is what strikes you as great.
Hey, that's why I'm a Kung Lao man. That's why I was a Kung Lao main.
yeah.
Serious. That's it. I'm not even joking.
That's funny.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for joining us.
right,
Please
tell me.
pitch everything that you can. Plug yourself.
Oh yeah, right. So hold on. I've got experienced twerk quality shirts. If you've been in my stream, you'll know about twerking Goro. I'm sure someone in the chat will put a space gibbon. If you don't know about twerking Goro, you need to come to my stream at twitch.tv/AFoxyGrampa. You can see it down here somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how you spell my name. And of course, Queen shirts. Yeah.
Where are you selling those?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, where can you
I
get
need
those?
I'm going to make a tweet soon.
Okay.
So follow me on Twitter and at AFoxyGrampa, as you can see. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Dude, sounds good.
All right, man. Thanks so
Yeah,
much
thank you
for
for
coming
having
on.
me.
I
I'll see you
appreciate
guys
it.
in a bit.
Thanks for hanging,
All right.
buddy. Yep.
Yeah, you lot take care. All right, later.
Have a good night or morning or whatever's going on out there.
Oh man.
All right, cool. Well, I really like that guy. Thanks a lot to him for coming onto the stream and talking with us for the last little while. Very interesting about his philosophy,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like I really like his views on gaming. It's cool.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like I said, I'm gonna have to reevaluate how I do everything in fighting games at this point in time now. You know, oh man. I mean, he was always one of my favorite players because he said that he's a Kung Lao main. I'm a Kung Lao main as well, so
Yeah.
I always loved watching him play MK, and definitely became one of my favorite players because he just was so good and he would always do so well. So, and again, the reason one of my favorite things about bringing up that Problem X, the sponsorship that he had is just the EU scene sticking up for each other, and I think that's just a really, really cool kind of story, to talk about.
Dude, super sick that he met Problem X the very first time he went to a tournament, and the brothers as well.
Catch up.
Or maybe he said that was the very next time, but whatever. Like, that's so cool that all happened really quickly. Anyway, thanks a lot to him for hanging out. So let's move on to the next one now.
Pew. It's there was a lot of questions, so the text is kind of small on the screen this time. So,
Well, I'll read it out as per usual. Number 1, what do you think about fighting games letting loose some super bosses on the ranked ladder? For example, randomly facing Shadow Lady while playing SF5 ranked for a chance at huge rewards. Do you think fighting games can pull off giant killer matches like Tekken? Number 2, how has the remote commentary experience evolved in the year since the pandemic started? Any interesting stories or lessons learned? Number 3, in your opinion, what is the most overrated fighting game? What game do people romanticize but really wasn't or isn't that amazing? 4, how would you feel if SF6 sidelined most legacy characters like Ryu, Ken, Guile, etc. for young characters like Sakura, Makoto, or Sean, or brand new ones? Number 5, with Ryu and Chun-Li's upcoming vacation being in Power Rangers, what other destinations are suited for the newly married couple to go to next? How many vacations before landing into the world of Marvel again? I love the phrasing of that question. Number 6, in honor of SFX BFTG, what are some fighting game character mashups you'd like to see? Ryu Kang, Jenny Bogard, Soul Zero, Aganostarov. That's hilarious.
I do want to clarify that being crossed with that one with Ryu Kang, it would definitely be Ryu Kang. Okay.
Ryu Kang, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The Shirai
Number
Ryu.
7, who would Prime Justin Wong still be the best in this era? How would Prime Sonic Fox do in the older FGC era? Who would win between Prime Justin versus Prime Fox in a gauntlet of one NRS game? Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and any other fighting game neither one is known for. Boy, that person's trying to make us fight.
Yeah,
Number
I know.
8. Build the roster to the ultimate action movie versus crossover fighting game. Multiples of characters are allowed, like Arnold Schwarzenegger can have Terminator, whatever, Conan, etc. Keanu Reeves can have Neo, John Wick, etc. Who's in? Who do you got? Well, we're not going to be getting to that one tonight. We're going to be getting to the 2 that tied. There are 2
interesting.
that
Okay.
tied.
Okay.
Let's get to the top one first. Why not? Number 2. How has the remote commentary experience evolved in the years since the pandemic started? Any interesting stories or lessons learned? Interesting question. Thanks a lot for that one. Well, what do you guys think? What do you have to say?
I mean, obviously, people are getting better at it. It's interesting because every company that you work with, every group that you work with does it very differently. And, some people have their own proprietary system. Some people just use Discord and everything. But it's been kind of neat because, it's afforded us opportunities to do stuff like me commentating on Salt Mine League, for a tournament in Germany, et cetera, and it's part of the whole streaming experience again. It's just like cobbling all this technology together and figuring out a way to make it work, which is what feels like the FGC is good at. I mean, look what we're doing with Parsec and stuff like that, right? So, like I said, during the course of the year, it's obviously gotten better. We've even developed weird techniques, like when we do CPT, we have the ability to look at one stream or the other stream to see which one is delayed, and we commentate off the right one. Or your strategy that you gave to St. Cola of using the the actual Twitch stream as an instant replay for yourself. A lot of little funny things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I initially feel. I feel like, we've just gotten better at it over time as expected, and I don't see it going away once the pandemic is over. I think we've gotten comfortable enough with it, with all the systems like, Smash GG, Match Reno, Discord, and, thanks to a lot of the pioneering, especially by the Reddit Street Fighter, now the online local. They've really paved a way and really set kind of the standard for a lot of people. And I think that, they helped us advance that much quicker with a lot of the lessons that they had already learned early on.
Yeah, I don't really have anything interesting to say about it. I haven't done a ton of commentary. The last thing I commentated was a Marvel event with Persia about a month ago. So,
oh, nice.
I haven't been super active. I was always invited to do Wednesday night fights and things like that, but also it's like, I'm not getting paid for it. I'm just like taking a break on things, waiting for real life to come back because,
right.
In all honesty, I don't enjoy doing online commentary very much. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't feel the same. Mm-hmm. It feels a lot less important. I still give my all when I do it, and I still, try to put on a great show, but it just doesn't feel the same, It's kind of like playing online tournaments. It just doesn't feel like, it doesn't matter how good the netcode is. It just doesn't hit the same. Yeah. So it just kind of leaves me feeling lonely because I miss real events. Yeah. So I've been avoiding it a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison between online play and online commentary. I feel like there's a lot of similarities between them. One is certainly that there's no social aspect. If we're in the same room together, like we are right now, for example, as I turn to James, we can give each other cues, right? We can be like, say I'm talking too much. James can lean forward and be like, oh, he can get my attention, and then I'll be like, oh, okay. There are things there are verbal cues that work, but then there are physical cues that actually are really important in commentating that you just don't get online. And then that's even on top of in person, we'll go out to lunch afterward, or we'll have dinner, or what, we'll hang out. The whole social experience is not there.
We'll go to the fart milk table.
We'll hang out at the fart milk table. Yeah, exactly.
So honestly, sorry to interject, but one of the biggest lessons of commentating online is just learning to stop talking, because it's harder for the other person to get in a word. And so commentating online, I've been a lot more cognizant of just making sure that I stop with the tone like, look, I'm done, you can talk now. You know what I mean? Because you can end sentences like, oh, and then he did this and that was really interesting. Or you can end it with, you know, like, oh, and he did this and, you know, that was really interesting. You know, and then that's like different cues to your co-commentator on, you can start talking now.
Notice though that's been creating more of like an esports cadence, which doesn't work quite as well for fighting games, because I've definitely noticed that.
Not for me. I feel like I've been doing it mostly the same kind of way, but I'm not sure actually.
There's more pause in between what people are saying. There's like you were saying, Jason, people are more cognizant to not talk over each other.
Right.
And to me, that sounds a lot more like an esports cadence than what FGC commentary normally is.
Dude, what if this whole time we just have been misattributing that to how they want to talk, but actually they've had more online commentary than we have this entire time, because they have more online games in general. So maybe that's where they come from, and maybe that's like the reasoning. Wow, I'm gonna think about this.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. Because it's not just that it's harder to get the other person's attention and to like take your turn, but it's also that there is in fact a little bit of a delay. It takes some small period of time to travel across the VoIP, and some services are better than others on that. And sometimes there's a little bit more time, just depending on like what the service is. Sometimes Discord's weird, even the one that's typically good. Sometimes it's weird. So you have this little bit of an extra window, and so you gotta like wait. So say I stop talking, I have to wait just a little bit to see if the co-commentator is going to start talking or not, or if I want to continue my turn or what. Like there's just this kind of question that's not really there in offline commentary. It's much faster feedback. And that is also much like playing online. Playing online, you have these little delays all the time. Even in good rollback netcode, still sometimes have little stutters. It's still not super perfect, even if in general it's good. So you're forced to play a little bit differently, and in commentary it's the same. You're forced to commentate a little bit differently than you would be online. Offline. I haven't done offline commentary, since before the pandemic.
Yeah. Same.
I've done offline hosting. I did hosting for the Capcom season final, but that wasn't live commentary, so it really wasn't the same thing.
Right.
But I'm curious to notice in myself if I'll change how I do offline commentary once I get back to it. Yeah. Like, will I have been the player who plays online for a year and then I come to offline events?
I don't think so.
Yeah?
I think it's going to be like riding a bike.
Yeah. I mean,
I really don't think that that's going to change how OG, I guess you could say now, fighting game commentators commentate. Maybe the St. Colas of the world, the newbies, the new guys might have that esports cadence, all right? But us vets, no problem.
It's so fascinating to me, though, because even like when we're doing the Tuesday show here, like when we did it live, it's just weird how the live versus the Discord conversation, like it's harder for us to talk at the same time. Like I feel like when you're both talking at the same time over Discord doesn't know how to handle that, and it gets really muffled. And so when we're local and we're actually there offline, you mentioned like the esports cadence of going back and forth one after another, but at offline events we would talk at the same time and kind of be like, oh my god, what's going on? Like at the same time, and like we could do that, and we can't really do that because as soon as you do that, both people disappear. And God, I can't stop thinking about this now, like how fascinating it is that
very interesting.
It might have actually affected the way that, fighting game commentary has been and why we have this difference, because we had always done this offline.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Tiny Text in the chat says your commentary reactions will be better once you get back to offline, and then puts the little like funny face, but I think that might be right. I could totally see that being right. Like I feel like I'll be extra aware of when the co-commentator wants to talk, because I will have built up this kind of like sense even more than I had before of when the person wants to talk, and I'll have even clearer sentence ending to make it obvious, like when I'm giving up my turn to talk.
Right.
I mean, one of the things, honestly, that I will say that does kill me the most about online commentary is that I feel like I'm watching something and I feel like the commentary is going great, and then I watch a clip and I see that my voice is actually like 2 seconds behind of what the action is, and it's like, that's heartbreaking a lot of the times, because it's just it hurts the enjoyment factor because it's disjointed. It is distracting, kind of thing, and I wish there was a way we could fix that, but I mean, the world is big, like we're not going to be able to get it to be perfect like that unless, I don't know if there is a technology to make sure everything's synced up together, but I almost wish now there was a way that you could delay the video feed of something to match the audio feed.
I've seen that done, but you
can definitely do that.
You can definitely do that. But what does happen sometimes, especially in Street Fighter V, is that we'll be watching through the game client.
Yeah.
And one of our games will just be behind. CFN will just be behind for you.
Yep.
That happens. And when that happens, so that presents a really interesting commentary challenge, though. So now I can pick up, based on what my co-commentator is saying, that they're in the future and I'm behind, right?
Yeah.
So now I know that I'm in the past, and like, how do I handle that? What do I provide? Do I stop talking until I get reset, like back to the right time? No, I can't provide zero content or zero input.
Right.
So I have to provide other stuff. Like, I'm no longer able to do on-the-spot analysis. Right. I'm no longer able to do like play-by-play in a way that's trying to hype up or that's trying to like tell some story or whatever. I have to instead maybe focus more on like, what's the overarching storyline here? Like, maybe the co-commentator says something that tells me what's up. I don't actually know what's happening. So I'm hearing in my ear like, oh, the player
like, nice DP,
block an overhead for the 10th time or whatever it is. So now I can come in and be like, oh, they just haven't been able to block an overhead the whole day. Like, I can provide stuff still, but that's different than I would otherwise. Yeah. So I've had to like kind of solve how to approach this.
Again, it happens on every platform. Like I said, when we do CPT commentary, we'll have a Zoom feed and we'll actually have the in-game client. I actually watch both of them to see which one of them is ahead and which one is more real time with my co-commentator. And so sometimes I can watch the beautiful 1080p crystal clear stream, and sometimes I have to watch this really terrifyingly compressed Zoom feed. But, even when we do it on Discord, it happens all the time. I just did commentary with St. Cola on the Salt Mine stuff, and, I could sense things were off, and I didn't even realize how off I was until I saw a clip on Twitter, of a highlight, and I was like, what the heck? And it's like, that's probably the thing that hurts the most of this remote commentary, is that we haven't figured out a technology yet to make that work just yet, because even if we try to watch the same feed, we're still getting the feed at different times, and that's rough.
One thing that I've learned to do too is to keep the video feed of my co-commentator open as well. So like, I'll have, if we're watching through the game client, then I'll have the Discord call with the other co-commentator or the Zoom call, whatever it is, open so that I can see if they're getting antsy or whatever, like to try to get some aspect of the visual cue that I miss because we're not in person. So that's been helpful. Anyway, I think in general, in answer to the question, how has it evolved? It's evolved a bunch, and it's definitely put in changes into how we commentate. We've had to solve new problems that weren't problems before. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we deal with it when we come back to the meet space.
Okay.
That was cool. Cool question.
Yeah, I know. Really fascinating to think about and talk about, to be honest. So, all right.
Let's go to the next one. Here it is. Number 4. Tubaware. How would you feel if Street Fighter 6 sidelined most legacy characters like Ryu, Ken, Guile, etc. for young characters like Makoto, Sakura, Sean, etc. And as well for brand new ones? How would you feel?
I would feel fine. I don't have character loyalty like that, where I need to have certain characters in a game to enjoy it. But I don't think most Street Fighter players would be okay with it. They tried that with New Generation, and most Street Fighter players were not okay with it. I don't think it would be any different now. I think a lot of people would be really pissed off if Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li, at the very least, aren't in a new Street Fighter game. So I think it would be a bad idea, but I wouldn't be bothered by it. I think it'd be cool to see, new versions of Sean or, master level Makoto, things like that. Like, I think that would be really dope. I'm more concerned with them doing another Third Strike prequel. As much as I don't care about lore, I still want to know what happens after Third Strike, because I've known for like 20 years now. So I just want to know what's next. But that's a whole different thing. So yeah, I wouldn't personally care, but I think it'd be a bad business move from Capcom.
So you would play Son of Blanca?
Sure, whatever. If I like the character, I mean, it could be a garbage character that I'll pick whoever is good that I also like. That's my philosophy on who I pick.
What do you think Son of Blanca should be named? What's Son of Blanca's name?
I in my headcanon, Blanca is a sweet boy virgin, and he will never sleep with a woman or anyone. He will always be an innocent boy.
What's his adopted son's name? His adopted son.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy. He just wants to be with his mama, his adopted son, Blanca. I don't know, man. David. I don't know.
I love it, actually.
Yeah, David.
A complete curveball. You didn't go with any of the obvious
David
color names in Spanish or Portuguese. You just
nope. It's old boy Davy. Charlie would work too. It was this boy in the movie. That could be a.
Why not Jimmy? Jimmy Jr.
Sure, whatever. Yeah,
his name's Jimmy.
James. He named his son James, not Jim.
James.
Okay.
Okay, for sure. So
very specific, James.
Son of Blanca is James. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a huge mistake if they went this route. I think it would be a terrible, because it's already been proven that it's not a good idea. Most fighting games succeed off of their legacy. Nostalgia, I think, is a little bit too powerful. And I think that's... You can't... New Generations already proved what can happen, right? New Generations came out. A lot of people are like, what the hell is this? And now, obviously, we love the characters because it was given all that time and everything. So it can also show maybe why it could succeed. But I just think it's better to... I would rather them do like with Street Fighter V, and bring back Zangief and Dalsum and make them super interesting and like tweak them from how they used to play. While still maintaining that because I mean, like the whole thing, like one of my main reasons why I've hated Necro is like, okay, so you made a new game and now you just made a replacement Dalsum, like, ooh, like, wow, like I would rather you just put Dalsum in the game and have him fight.
Whoa. He had electricity too, okay? He was Dalsa Blanca Sim. He was both, okay?
Anyways, it would be a huge mistake. It's just like I said, from a financial standpoint, I mean, look how happy everyone gets. Like in the KOF universe, Yashiro comes back, Chizuru comes back, and everybody is just absolutely losing their shit over these things. Urien shows up in in Street Fighter V, and you saw how Joe reacted to that and stuff. Like, you can't do it so that you sideline the majority of the characters, but if you do like a situation where it's half and half old characters, half new characters, and then as the seasons go and DLC comes in, you keep bringing in a good mix between the two, I think that's the right way to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think there's a reason that we were talking earlier about having Ryu in Battle for the Grid and Chun-Li in Battle for the Grid and not like El Fuerte and exactly. Viper or whatever newer characters. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. I feel similarly to Tupperware. totally cool with me if it's like daughter of Zangief and son of Dalsum, and like it's totally fine with me. I'm just not as invested as much as I like those characters, to be honest. Like, I'm not as invested as I know some are. The character is interesting to me. It certainly has become more interesting to me over time than it used to be when I would have played a stick figure game or whatever. Like, it is more interesting to me now, but it's not so interesting that I would or wouldn't play a game that I otherwise thought was interesting, like gameplay wise. So yeah, I mean, I did play Third Strike, obviously. I was cool with it being Remy instead of Guile. I was cool with it being Necro instead of Dalsum, he didn't even play like a zoner anyway in that game, but you can't, I guess. Anyway, all that stuff was cool with me. I also agree with both of you that it would not be as financially successful as it would be if it were full of all the characters that so many people really do care about. Like, it really does matter to them. It really does matter to some people that they've been playing E-Honda for 30 years or whatever it is, right? Like, it's actually 30 years almost. Or no, it actually is, right?
Yeah.
1991? Yeah. Like, that actually really matters to some people, and that's cool. I'm not going to say that it shouldn't. Like, we all have different priorities. So I totally get why it's a bad financial idea. I think there are also people, though, who are kind of in the middle of this, who are also really invested in characters. That really matters to them. But they are really interested in characters that aren't just the original 8, 12, whatever it may be. Like, they're really interested in some of the characters mentioned in this question. For example, Sakura, Makoto, Sean. They're people who really care about these characters. And Sakura's been in quite a bunch. Right. Makoto's been in a couple of things. Sean hasn't. Sean's basically been sidelined ever since he was intentionally nerfed from Second Impact when he was strong. Terrible bad. Unsafe on hit in some stuff. Yeah. Which they wouldn't do unless it was intentional, right? So he's been totally sidelined. And there are other characters that people care about. Viper's one of them. Certainly there are others too that people have attachments to, and so they'd like to see them back. I think that makes sense.
Like I said, I think
powerful, dude.
It is powerful.
If you add the new characters with the old characters, it turns those new characters into nostalgia, right? Look how many people were excited for Armika when she got announced in Street Fighter V. Nobody cared about Armika. Nobody played her. But then when she got announced, everybody was all excited about it. So
I've never seen so many people pretend that they cared about a character for a long time than when Mika was announced.
I'd say Karin was the same as well.
Totally right. Yeah. Totally right.
Karin, I would give a lot more credit to than Mika. I've known people who were legit like, oh, Karin is so awesome. I'm a big Karin fan. Mika, never. There was like 3 people.
Maybe people. In Mika's case, maybe 3 to 5 people I had ever met. But Karen's not so much more. 10? I mean, it's not 50 who I'd ever met personally who had like asked for her to come back and it was super important to them.
Right.
Anyway, I know that it is important for some people. So you can't put literally every character in a game. You can't have everybody.
Unless you're Smash Brothers.
Okay, Smash Brothers is doing a pretty good job of that. But in general, you can't have every character. And at the same time, there are people who want to see new stuff, which I'm among. I want to see a new set of characters. So I've been super excited for some of the new stuff in Street Fighter, in Mortal, like the games that I play. Like, for example, Baraka he's brand new in MK11. This is the first game that's had a Baraka in it, and that's awesome.
That's not even close to true.
What do you mean?
Baraka's been in plenty of games, David.
I'm not
sure it was a joke about how useless.
Yeah, I know. I was just ruining your joke.
Okay, well, that was my joke. It's very clear.
I mean, kind of as an intersection between two, like this conversation and previous conversations, there is one character's child that I do want to see in a fighting game as a brand new character, and that is Jessica. I do want to see Hager's daughter. I never want to see Hager in a fighting game, but I want Jessica to show up in a fighting game in a nice, pretty red dress and have her spinning pile driver the F out of you and lariat you and fight exactly like Hager would with a pipe and everything. I think that would be amazing. I actually just want to have Jessica just walk up to you with his pipe and just be like, thwack. Like, I think that would be amazing because I want to see.
Awesome.
I want to see a female spinning pile driver grappling kind of character. I think that would be. That's what I've always thought would be awesome to do.
Yeah, Capcom's not been great at putting those in. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, honestly, Kraken, the reason why I don't want the former Street Fighter in an actual Street Fighter game because he retired as champion. And so in my headcanon, he's that good. And like, I would not like to end up I mean, that's why he's in Marvel vs. Capcom. He can compete with the other people who are like super powered, right? I don't want Hager to end up in a Street Fighter game and end up being low tier Alex Grappler for 5 seasons. You know, like I that would break my heart.
Who says Hager has to be a grappler? You can change it up, man.
Yeah, what if he retired as a grappler, but now he's back as a zoner?
He just pulls out a gun.
He's throwing pipes everywhere, dude.
Beach.
It's just pipes getting thrown everywhere.
And they did give him a projectile on MVCI, by the way.
True, he had the oil drum, and yeah, that's right.
That's right, he did. That's right.
They could lean into that side of things.
Yeah, no, trust me, it breaks my heart that Ryu is so terrible in some of the fighting games, even though he's supposed to be so good, you know. But oh well, what are you gonna do?
And anything else to say on this one?
No.
Nope.
Let's move on.
Tournament results.
We already talked about the WePlay, Ultimate Fighting League, Tekken 7. Again, Pakistan's the best. Shout outs to everybody there.
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat Pro Competition North America number 6 happened. The Mighty Unjust, who I picked last year as newcomer of 2020, got first place.
Nice.
So, shout outs to Ultra David for giving him the Ultra David bump. That's right. That's right. That's what I said. Also, Averk won NA West. Pretty good. Pretty good. That
Nice.
Scorpion out there. Smash World Tour Europe Online qualifier happened as well. And that was won by EDM Bloom Forever with Bayonetta, Corrin, and Duck Hunt. There was also a lot of community stuff. I didn't write down the results, but I just wanted to shout out the scene in MK for having like a tournament actually every night. Like it's remarkable how if you ever want to watch a Mortal Kombat tournament, you can totally do it at almost any time of day, and especially if you happen to live in North America and you want to watch something after work or whatever. Community's got you covered on that. Good work, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, one of the reasons why I've stopped running tournaments for SoulCal distancing, I used to do alternating between tournament and casuals, is because a lot of the players would come in and be like, man, we're playing in like a Soul Calibur tournament every day and we're like stressed out. And so I've just changed it to purely casuals just so that they could have a nice chill time. It's crazy. Like, I've thought about doing Grand Blue stuff, but there's like a Grand Blue event every day. Like, it's crazy how packed it really is. Everybody out there trying to run events out there.
Yeah,
and
man.
even
It's cool.
I know for the upcoming stuff, I don't know if you actually wrote. Oh no, you haven't written it down there. But actually, I think it just happened today. Was it Yipes and Chris Matrix? Or no, it was Yipes and Pai Chung doing the can opener tournament.
Yeah, they had a Street Fighter tournament today.
Yeah, they're doing a Street Fighter tournament today. So, you know, everybody's running tournaments all over the place. Royal Rivals just did that. There was a all-women Soul Calibur tournament that just took place and such. So, you know, there's events all over the place.
Good work, everybody. Then let's go to the next one and just touch on it for a brief period. Upcoming is this weekend, the first of the Capcom Pro Tour 2021 events. First premiere is this weekend, April 17th to 18th. Streaming on Capcom Fighters. They do it on YouTube. They do it on Twitch. And you can watch it on basically whatever. I think Facebook even. It's in Japan. Tons of great players in Japan, obviously. I imagine most of them are going to be entering. Do you guys have predictions about who's going to win the Japan 1 qualifier this week? Give me your number one.
Oh, my goodness.
I go.
Yeah,
That's actually a great choice. Why not?
Daigo sounds about right. I mean, a lot of people had the prediction that if we had the Capcom Pro Tour Finals this past year, that Daigo probably would have won that. But the way that he's been practicing, it's not even. I mean, we talked about how we've been learning how to commentate from offline to online. Daigo has really embraced the offline to online mentality and play style and strategies. More so than anybody else. So I think Daigo has a really, really good chance of taking it.
I like Bone Chan.
Bone Chan.
Bone Chan.
Yeah.
Exactly
3
right.
minutes.
So Daigo.
Because Sagat is really good, and people are out there saying that Sagat is like mid tier now, but I think Sagat's really good, and he's gonna be sick. He's gonna be a player to watch.
All right.
Just as other people know, it's going to start at midnight at Pacific Standard Time. So it'll be 12 a.m. for Pacific Standard Time. So if you're East Coast, this weekend will start at 3 a.m. Yeah, there you go. Math is hard.
Yeah, I've seen Nemo be playing a lot of Ed lately.
Yeah.
And not just Nemo, I've seen other people playing Ed.
Yeah, that's crazy. But, I mean, look, I'm just saying, Daigo is one of those players who will lose in those first things. And then, in these little exhibitions, and he uses all that information, that's how he is. So, trying to see.
Unless he's playing an exhibition against Tokido.
Oof.
Yeah.
Bone Chan. Number 1 winner. You heard it here first. All right, that's it. Let's get to the mailbag. We're going to wrap it up.
Mailbag.
We got some good mailbags.
Go ahead. Sorry, forgot to click save. There we go.
You gotta hurry it up, guys.
The old Gen TV crew answers your questions.
There's a whatchamacallit here.
There's a whatchamacallit, so we're going to get on it. Thanks a lot for that input. T. Harris, 3600 on YouTube.
There's a curfew here.
Well, is there an internet curfew for you too? What are you doing?
Man, they had to shut it all down, dude. The whole city goes dark 10 p.m.
Is that true?
Done. No, it's not true.
Okay, all right. I didn't think so. Jeez. Like I said, T. Harris 3600 on YouTube. Was David serious about thinking a raw bagel is better than one toasted with a little butter? This is problematic.
I like how you read that.
Let me teach you a little bit about bagel etiquette. So, if the bagel is fresh, it's to be eaten by itself, or with cream cheese, or as part of a sandwich. If the bagel is not fresh, it's to be eaten toasted and with butter. And you could also toast it. Some people put peanut butter on that. I'm not a huge fan, but some people do that.
I actually, at my local donut place, me and my roommate will actually go get a toasted bagel with peanut butter and bananas. The Elvis bagel.
That's not uncommon.
So good.
Yep, for sure. I think it's okay. I don't mean to say I think it's bad. It's just that's not like my preference. I tend to do butter in that instance. So, yes, in some cases, a raw bagel is better than a toasted one. If it's if you're taking a fresh bagel and toasting it, then you're getting rid of like the texture of a fresh bagel, which is different than an older bagel, and it's really good. So
it's really good.
I would say please enjoy fresh bagels and don't put them in the oven too soon. But if it is a little bit older, go for it.
But I mean, what if you just
have a blast?
What if you just really enjoy the toasted crunchiness of things,
Well, then you might as well just get a store-bought bagel.
Just buy, exactly right. Then, you know what? In fact, if you go to Bageleries, a lot of them will have, like, here's the bagels that we sold, that we wanted to sell yesterday that we didn't actually get out in time.
Yeah.
So get one of those. And leave the fresh bagels for people like me who actually care about fresh bagels, James. You're out there precluding my bagel enjoyment, huh? You think you're going to take all the fresh bagels before I get a chance?
I'm going to go out to the next time I go out to a bagelery, and I'm going to ask for their freshest bagel and get it toasted.
You wouldn't dare.
And get it toasted.
Toast that boy up ASAP.
You wouldn't dare.
And you know what? I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to ask them to let me take a picture of their freshest bagel before it's been toasted, and then I'll take a picture of it afterwards, and I will send it to you and put the psycho violins with it. So
Oh, my little boy, the poor bagel didn't do anything wrong.
zin, 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 zin.
You got some decent bagels out there as well in Santa Monica. You guys have a Western Bagel. You got some single store bageleries.
I mean, to be fair, the place that I always get my bagels is the local donut shop, and it's always like at midnight. So it's not. I'm definitely not harming any fresh bagels whenever I get my bagels toasted. So.
Also, you're getting bagels from a
midnight.
What?
But I was gonna say, why is your donut shop open at midnight? What?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have that? We have that.
Yeah,
No, that's not a thing here at all.
my donut shop is
Donut
open
shops are
24.
open to like 2 p.m. and then they're done.
Mine is open for 24 hours, so it's there.
All right.
I've been there. That place has pretty good donuts for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I get the bagels from there is because I'm usually there to get a donut or a breakfast sandwich, and then I just happen to get a bagel while I'm there because I'm just in the mood for it. So.
Yeah,
Right.
it sounds like you're getting bagels from a place where it doesn't matter whether it's a fresh
Right.
bagel or not a fresh bagel, to be perfectly honest.
For sure. And it's funny too because I would have never tried their breakfast sandwich if it wasn't for Tasty Steve. When Steve and Sajam were on the Tuesday show before, I took them there one time, and Tasty Steve was just like, "I'm hungry for a breakfast sandwich," and he got like one of their breakfast sandwiches, and he just started eating it in the store, like while we were all like, I was still trying to gather my stuff, and then he just started going off on how it was the best breakfast sandwich that he might have ever eaten. I mean, in pure Tasty Steve fashion, and the people there, the workers were like super amused by it. He was like, "Yo, this is the best breakfast sandwich I've had. I swear to God, this is the best breakfast." And then I finally decided to try one. They're really damn good. I was surprised at how they're very peppery. Like they put all this extra seasoning. It's really dang good. So, but yeah, it was, it was. Shout outs to Tasty Steve. Otherwise, I might not have ever tried it. So, I get him all the time now.
You hang out with a Jew once a week for like 5 years, and I can't convince you to eat a bagel, and then Tasty Steve gets it in one night? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
To be fair, Steve is very, very persuasive.
Yeah.
He's very persuasive. That's true.
I wanted to keep my arm, so I had to agree to it. So.
All right,
Cat.
next mailbag.
I was getting there, man. Fat Cat 321 on Discord asks, in a not unrelated question, do you dislike any food as much as Tasty Steve dislikes peas? And do you get excited for anything as much as Steve does?
He said dislike any food. Okay, I had an answer to that question. Like, I thought it was, do you dislike anything as much as you dislike peas? But I guess it's food, huh? Okay.
Do you dislike any food as much as Tasty Steve dislikes peas?
For sure.
What do you dislike? What do you hate?
I hate mango.
Mango?
Mango?
I hate the way it smells.
What?
I fucking hate mango. And if you want to count it, tequila. The smell of tequila makes me gag.
What happened on tequila? You had too much of it one night?
No, I just never ever could drink it. Never. There wasn't like a night where I had too much. Or rum was like the thing that I drank till I hated it.
Mm.
But tequila, I've just always hated. If the agave plant went extinct tomorrow, I would celebrate. I fucking hate tequila. I hate it so much, I don't want anyone else to have it.
Dang, you would be the kind of person that would take the freshest bagel ever and toast it and send pictures to David.
Did you guys talk about this in advance? Because one of you is screwing with bagels, one of my most favorite foods, and you are screwing with tequila, my most favorite sipping drink.
Yeah, I hate it. It's so gross, dude. I don't know how you do it. I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation many a times.
I don't remember. If it was over tequila, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really like tropical fruits like kiwi and stuff in general. But mango, something about mango just makes me gag.
Weird. Okay.
I hate it.
It's weird because
Maybe I'm allergic to it and I just don't know, but I won't eat the shit. The smell of it just makes me bleh.
The smell.
Yeah, it's gross to me. But I love bananas and oranges and apples and all that stuff, so whatever.
I mean, the funny thing about me is there's a lot of food that I don't like. I don't know if there's one that I actively hate as much as Tasty Steve hates peas. Like, you
Peas
know,
are delicious.
I generally don't like mushrooms, but I just had some truffle hot sauce that was amazing, and I'll eat some stuff with mushrooms every once in a while. It's not like eating the mushroom makes me gag, like, you know, kind of situation. I tend to not put onions on my burgers, but I'll eat onion rings. You know, like, there's always a way that I will find a way to make it acceptable. I'm not sure if there's really anything out there that I hate that much. I avoid a lot of foods just because for me, eating is all about just being as pleasurable as possible. So I just try to get things that I just really think are delicious. I don't know if there's anything I hate that much. Huh.
For me, the answer is no. I don't eat certain foods because of Jewishness. Like, I don't eat pig or, you know, shellfish and etc. But I haven't done that my whole life. I chose to do that later in life. I wasn't raised that way. So I've had all of it, and I didn't stop eating it because it's not tasty. Like, it's all tasty, of course. So I've never really come across something that I've been grossed out by. And even like food that's not cooked great, I'll eat it. It's no big deal. I'll make it through. I used to make some meals that were probably pretty gross, I guess, in retrospect.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Bachelor chow.
I definitely made bachelor chow a lot. So I'm not super picky. I like things. I have preferences, but I also don't like dislike stuff for the most part. Yeah.
Actually, Exilian might actually come up with something that's closest for me. It might be pickles, actually.
Oh, pickles are fucking delicious. Get out of there.
So good.
I actually hate pickles a lot, actually. It's either that
Pickled cucumbers.
The other one that I was thinking of is bean sprouts, maybe. I'm not even a taster of bean, because you know how there's that there's supposedly that gene that makes bean sprouts really bitter for you, and there's one that's not. I'm not sure if I'm even a taster. I don't even think bean sprouts are disgusting. I just think bean sprouts are completely useless. Like, they don't add it.
They're just there to add texture. That's all.
Right, and I hate their texture. They don't add any flavor. They just add texture, and I don't like the texture of it. But pickles, I think my biggest problem with pickles are that if a pickle is on something, that's the only thing I taste. Like, it's too dominating. It's too dominating. Like, there's no such thing as a subtle pickle. You know what I mean? So, like,
There's lots of subtle pixels, though.
Yeah, there are lots of, yeah. But definitely I will avoid, like, pickles, because, like, I mean, I'm at a point, though, but see, even then, like, if there's a pickle on a burger, and I take the pickles off, and there's some pickle juice left on it, and when I eat it, I can still taste a little bit of pickles, that's not going to prevent me from eating it. Like, I'll just be like, bleh, but I'll still eat it and enjoy the non-pickly parts of it. So I don't know.
The feeling, James, that you were the kid that if, like, your food touched on the plate, you'd say, no, I don't want it. That's what I'm getting the vibes from right now with the pickles.
Not as much. Like I said, I was very picky. I wouldn't eat a lot of things. Like, I would tell my mom, I'm not going to eat that. You know, I was one of those picky kids, but I wasn't one of the ones that if it touched the plate, I would be done with it. I would still eat a lot of things. Like, I was never that crazy. You know, I know someone who will see an onion and just literally they lose their appetite completely. Like, just by...
Dude, not only that, but Flo, who you're talking about, he didn't even know that some things had onions in them.
Yeah.
And when he found out that they had onions in them, he liked the flavor beforehand. He absolutely refused to eat them ever since.
Yep.
In fact, there are things that I know that some foods contain that Flo has told me he enjoys that I won't tell him what's in it because I don't want to ruin it for him because it contains things that he says that he hates.
Yep.
Tried to be kind here. I tried to remain, you know, no names.
I will never tell him what's in a few different things. I don't want to take away his enjoyment of those things. You know? I know
tried my best not to reveal names, but, you know, oh, man.
Yeah, I feel like if he knew what onion was in, he he wouldn't eat anything ever again.
Yeah, not
onions
just
and fucking everything, dude.
yeah.
So like for
and
example,
it's not just onion that he hates. There's other stuff that he's told me he hates that I won't say because I don't want you people watching to ruin it for him either. But he's told me that he hates that I know are in things he's also told me are like some of his favorite foods.
Right.
So
I mean, the interesting thing for onions is I really like the flavor. So I have a problem. So kind of tying to the bean sprouts and maybe even a little bit to the pickles. I have texture is the thing that will make me dislike food more than anything else. Like mushrooms are kind of gross to me because they're slimy, and I don't like a lot of that weird crunchy, watery crunchiness of vegetables, right? So like onions, like if they're like on a burger and it's just like a raw onion on there, like I don't like it. When they get all soft and gooey like in an onion ring, I make my own gumbo, and by the time the gumbo is done, the white onions in there basically just dissolve and melt in your mouth, and they're delicious. So again, like I like the taste of it. It's more just the texture of it that I don't like. It's kind of weird. And I'm a carnivore. I'm a meat eater, king and queens, but I'm also a wheat eater. Like I sniff bread and I will just eat noodles and rice for the rest of my life.
Bread, James. You're not supposed to up the nostril, dude.
Dude, seriously, if I could, I mean, I probably would sniff flour and people be like, "Oh my God, James, what did you?" It's like it's flour, dude.
we have a tremendous amount of flour in this apartment. If you'd ever like to have flour,
If you want to come over and snort some of our flour,
we got a lot of flour.
So much,
and multiple different kinds too, not
All
just
right,
one
getting
kind.
my vaccine right now, dude. So I can go over and sniff some flour, dude. Let's go.
I'm very happy to not feel like I hate foods.
No, yeah,
You know,
it's
I guess I feel lucky that I don't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't eat some stuff, but not for reasons of whether it's tasty or not.
No,
So it's. Yeah. Dude, but before I started not eating those foods, I would absolutely eat anything, and that there's some stories involved with that. maybe probably shouldn't have. Maybe probably not the best choices. At the time.
look, all I'm gonna say is
pizza sitting out on your bed.
I agree with you, David. I wish I was like that. Again, it's like I'm not picky because I want to be fussy or whatever, but it's just, you know, there is that gag reflex on certain things that I can't control sometimes, you know, and it's frustrating. I wish I could be the guy. Like David, we went to, you know, when we were in Evo Japan, he goes to the breakfast thing and he's just eating up all the natto, you know. He's like, oh, I'm totally down to try all this stuff, you know, like I wish I was like that, honestly. I wish I didn't have that problem because food is delicious. And there's a lot of things out there that are really, really good that you would never think about trying. But like I said, it's hard for me to control a lot of that, which is kind of weird. So,
I ever tell you how I liked crunchy peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Like crunchy from what? The toast?
So
the toast,
mom,
right? The toast. Obviously, like the toasted bagel. How I like
my mom
the crunchy.
for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and she would make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. No, not toasted. And then I would walk outside to our swing set, which had sand under it, and I would take a little bit of sand and I would put it in the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I would eat the peanut butter and jelly, and it would be nice and crunchy. You never did that?
You ate rocks. You ate rocks.
Yeah.
This is why you eat apple cores. Did your mom know about this?
I'm sure she did not. Yeah, she would have stopped it for sure.
Oh my God! What the fuck was wrong with you? Oh, it's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
How have I never heard this before?
How am I the one with the gravelly voice? That doesn't make any sense, dude.
Very
Oh
funny.
my
Very funny.
God. You
Anyway,
were
that's
the
how
weird kid chomping on glue sticks, man, for sure.
I'm not a barbarian. I never did that. That sounds gross. That sounds gross.
Next question.
A couple of days ago,
What?
I was eating a strawberry, and I could tell that it was moldy. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to eat another strawberry, but I finished eating that strawberry.
Yep, I figured you would.
All right, here's the next question. Let's move on. So, Zissou on Discord asks, Ultra David, what made you come around on Marvel 3, going from loving it to hating it to loving it again? Well, I think it's a super, super fun game to watch, and I enjoyed aspects of watching it the whole time. So when the game came out, like, it was, first of all, I hadn't played a Marvel game before that, so it was new to me in that sense. I mean, I had played Marvel too, but like not competitively. So it was a new, interesting challenge. And at that time, I was really only playing Street Fighter 4. I don't remember if Mortal Kombat had come out before or after, but I think it came out after. And so it was really just, I was looking for a different game. And Marvel 3 was super different. So I liked it, and I played a lot of it, and I felt like there was a lot of exploration that I really enjoyed. And those are all things that I think are just like factually true about the game, that it has great exploration, and it's awesome. Quit thinking about the sand, Tupperware. So I think it had a lot of cool stuff going for it. And then for a while,
like sands through an Ultra David, so are the days of our lives.
Oh. Man, I'm not gonna stop thinking about that all night.
And then I thought the game was stupid because it had a phase where, or at least my understanding of it was that it had a phase. Maybe I was wrong, but the way that I viewed it was that it became too simple and easy, and that it didn't have a compelling neutral game, and that, you know, some characters were just so strong that they just weren't worth playing against, and you could play well an entire round and then lose instantly. And I felt that it was very hard to manage zaniness, and I didn't know how to do that really at the time. And so I guess I felt it was like a scrub game for a while, and it was not worth spending any time on. So I sold my disc, and I, you know, didn't even watch. I stopped commentating it. Like my commentary on it from that era began to get really bad. I could tell. Like, I was not invested in it. I didn't know what was going on anymore because I wasn't actively playing it, and I just became really bad at it. So that went on for, I don't know, maybe a year, something like that. And then as far as like why I started to think it was good again, I kind of think it was just me thinking about stuff in general and like getting older and viewing things differently than before. I don't know that there was like one specific moment that made me change my mind, but it was just, you know, I reevaluated what could be interesting and good in fighting games, and what could be fun, and what was how you could manage risk. And I thought differently about fighting games at some point, and Marvel 3 was one of the games that was kind of prompting that. Mm-hmm. You know, people who I thought were smart really liked the game. People who I thought weren't scrubs were really liking the game, and they were playing the game. And so I was like, why are these people who I think are cool and I respect playing this game that I think is so dumb? Like, are they dumb? No. So what is it about the game that they like? And I try to think.
Samurai Showdown is fun, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that game actually did make me think about things differently than before. And although I didn't come around to liking the game, I've at least thought about, you know, how I thought about the game differently after having thought about it for some time. In part because, yeah, you guys who I respect, like, you like the game, and I was like, well, they're not idiots, so like, what's the deal?
Dude, you should watch.
Yeah, I think that's what happened in Marvel 3, and I'm glad that it did, because it had a big impact on games that I then felt like are some of my favorites. Marvel 3, I feel like, is one of my favorite fighting games. I don't think if I had thought differently that I would have come back around to Third Strike, which for a while I hated, for the same reason, thinking it's like a sort of zany scrub game where you couldn't manage risk. And Killer Instinct, I felt the same way. Zany scrub game that you couldn't manage risk in. Like, games that I feel are some of my favorites are that way, and I'm glad that I rethought it.
I mean,
so
honestly,
what David's saying is he figured out that he's a zany scrub.
I can definitely play zany scrub. Why not?
I would actually be curious to see what you would think about watching some of my Samurai Showdown streams. I've had some people using Sogetsu on the stream, and like the shit that they are doing with Sogetsu's bubble is like, oh god, it's so beautiful, dude.
Yeah, I don't have any knowledge about the game right now. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I razz on you guys sometimes, but it's not really my position that the game's like good or bad now. I just don't know what's up with it.
They've done a good job with the way that the game is changed and balanced. It's still simple, obviously, but oh man. I only just bring it up because when I saw the Sogetsu stuff that they were doing, the first person I thought of was you, David, and I was just like, man, you would actually
Cool.
David would actually get a kick out of what this guy is doing with the bubble, dude. It's so cool. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't see what the big deal is with an apple core. Just eat it.
Disgusting. It has terrible. It has no flavor. It feels bad as bad mouthfeel.
It's just gonna take like 2 seconds. Just do it.
Why? You don't have to eat that.
But
You're
it's right
forcing
there.
yourself to do it.
I mean, I don't know if forcing's the right term. It's just
It's not enjoyable, man.
All right. So here's my question. Well, are we done with the mailbag here?
no,
Oh,
we're not.
God.
We have two
Oh,
more.
that was it.
Okay.
Phil Rufio on Twitter asks, "Would you want robotic arms, robotic legs, or neither?"
Oh my god.
Legs for sure. 100% robotic legs. It's not even a question for me.
What's your reasoning?
I'm assuming that these aren't like Star Wars level prosthetics where you have like the same feel you would with your hands and your fingertips, you know? So if I'm not going to feel something, legs is the way to go. Also, I imagine if they're robotic legs, I could just fucking go as long as the battery lasts, right? Like, I'm just chilling. I could walk anywhere. It wouldn't really bother me. Whereas if I want to walk 8 miles right now, I would fucking die. So, you know, I think the legs is the way to go.
I have had probably close to maybe 3 or 4 dozen nights in the past year where I wish I could chop my legs off. Like, I am not even joking to you because of how miserable restless legs are to trying to sleep.
Yeah, it sucks. I've done that.
If I had the option for robotic legs so that I didn't have to ever have restless legs again in my entire lifetime, sign me up, dude. Like, seriously, because that shit is the worst. I even just last week I had a night like that, and it is absolutely like that's when I saw that question. I was just like, pfft, like there's just no even choice for me, dude. Like killing my legs would just be like the perfect way. I might actually get to a normal sleep schedule if I could do that, honestly.
Isn't that as much mental as physical?
I think so. I'm not sure because when I get it on an airplane, I can get rid of it by watching a movie and not paying attention to it, or by playing a particularly engrossing game. And then it'll go away as long as I can keep my mind off of it. So I think I think it's part and parcel of both. But when it starts up, like no matter what, when I'm trying to sleep, because you can't distract yourself really when you're trying to sleep, I can't get rid of it. Like it's impossible. So
I'm just saying, I don't know that having non-human legs would be the solution if it's
Yeah, you might still get
mental.
that tingle.
Yeah, because I mean, there are people who are amputees who have itchy arms or whatever that they lost.
I mean, that's the question, right? Would it manifest itself in another part of my body? Is that a thing that's going to happen?
Well, I'm just saying you might feel it in your legs that don't exist.
Yeah,
Like,
that
they're-
could happen.
Yeah, people feel that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, that would
Phantom
suck. But I'm definitely looking up this stuff that Funko is talking about in the chat over here. Gabapentin or Ropenroll. Because, like, I'll tell you something. He says it helps with the like, it has to do with dopamine levels. But, like, honestly, I've read so many different things. Like, I've been taking magnesium pills every day because I heard that actually helps as well. So I'm definitely looking up all this stuff to help with restless legs. So because I have tried everything. I've even taken CBD oils just to try to help myself get to sleep and stuff. And like, oh God, nothing is as powerful as the restless legs. The restless legs actually just completely override everything. It's really annoying. Oof.
Well, my answer to this is that I'd like to be as much robot as possible. Maybe not my brain. My brain's pretty cool, but as far as the rest of my stuff, my joints are not built to like withstand living. very well. So
Right.
if I could replace those with things that did, in fact, allow me to play sports again or whatever it is, that would be pretty great. That's my answer. We have one last question. Kuya Milifune. Please let me know if that's how it's pronounced, because that's how I've always said it in my head. But let me know if that's wrong. On YouTube says, is it better to have A, guilty until proven innocent? 100% of scumbags get convicted and punished, but 10% of those convicted and punished were actually innocent. Or innocent until proven guilty. Have only 50% of scumbags get convicted and punished, but 0% of those convicted and punished were actually innocent. What do you prefer? Guilty until proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty?
I like when the innocent don't get punished.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I go with.
Yep, I definitely am on team
Even if
innocent
some
until
scumbag
proven
gets
guilty.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I am as well. The hardest part is that even on that team, the innocent get punished anyway a lot. So, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Right, that's in the practical world that we live in, unfortunately. But if this was, it's just a question, right? Like, which one would you prefer in general? And
Right.
yeah, innocent until proven guilty for sure.
Yeah.
That is. I don't even have like a great reason for that. That's like one of the base principles, I guess, for me. You know, like there's things where you're just like, I don't need to reason myself into this. It's just like how I probably have been socialized to feel, and I think that's one of them for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just feel, if I had to make that choice, I would feel too guilty for sure sending 10% of people to jail that don't belong. That sucks. Even if it means, you know, criminals go unpunished. Like, whatever.
I will absolutely let half the scumbags get away.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, if this is the question, right? Where the question like posits 50% will get away, but hey, the actual like murder solution rate by police in this country is about 50%. High five, everybody! Woo! We're doing great. All right, that's it. That's all the mailbags I got.
I've definitely taken Ambien. I've definitely taken Ambien before, Funko, and it's made me do some strange things as Ambien does. So I'm kind of scared to take that. It has been the most effective way for me to sleep, but now I'm also worried: am I actually asleep the whole time?
Well, you know what will help you sleep, James? That won't leave you feeling weird.
Well, yeah.
Marijuana,
Yeah.
baby. 420 YOLO, blaze it up.
I mean, that's why I said
I want to see 420 James Chen, baby.
That's why I said I've tried some CBD oils recently.
No. I'm talking about rolling up a big fucking doink out in Burbank or wherever you are and smoking that shit up and going to sleep for the night. That's
Trust
what I'm
me,
talking
I've
about.
Those
definitely,
active ingredients, baby.
I've gotten very close to doing that. Like that's
Go,
where
I
I'm
mean, you can walk down the street and go to weed
It's
dispensaries.
legal, man. Yeah,
Dude,
it's
my
legal.
weed.
What's
I have a
stopping
weed
you?
dispensary literally within walking distance of my house. Like,
I just said you could
What's
literally walk
stopping
there.
yeah,
you, man?
I could do
What's
it.
stopping you?
I could 100% do it. So I just have to convince myself. That's all. So that's all.
Most people are cool on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's for me. It's just one of those things that I have to try it out and make sure that I'm in a safe environment to do it. Because you've
I
mentioned
mean,
before.
I would never smoke marijuana ever.
No, it's not for Tobo.
Because I know for you, David.
my whole life.
I know for you, David. You said it actually makes you more paranoid, right? So, like,
I have a terrible reaction on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
not just paranoid, but like a physical kind of like I feel my airways block up, and it just is it's a real bad time. So it's not
Right.
something that I will do. But that's a real rarity. Is my understanding that I just happen to have whatever in my body chemistry that's not cool with it. I don't know.
okay. All right.
Well,
That's it, everybody.
we did
no,
it.
We
not
did it.
yet. Hang on.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. What about this? Is this something that we want to address today, right here, right now? 760 words for the first story called What Year Is It? A little vignette about what happens after an important step in Jake's life. Author has written 4 stories for Avatar. Do we do the first one here?
I mean, if you want to, that's fine with me. Yeah,
think
it's
we
going to
have
take a while to read, it looks like. I don't remember any of this. I'm assuming that this is me. I just honestly don't recall, but it seems likely based on
Let's
the evidence.
ask the chat. Do you guys want us to put this into next week's show, or do you want us to do it right now?
Oh, they're going to say right now. Like I said, I mean, I'm not going to do all 4 of them. Because one of them is 3,787 words, right? The first one's just 760, right? I can do this one now and save the big long one for next week or something like that. What do you guys think?
People are saying special event next Tuesday. Just a taste. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's up to you guys.
All right.
I think
So
we should just fit this into the show for next week.
the other question is, do you want me to have the text on screen as I read it, or do you just want to hear James' narration without the text so you guys can't actually read ahead? So that's the question. What do you guys actually want? Do you prefer to see the text, or would you actually just have me say, which, by the way, it starts off with, "This is my first ever stab at fan fiction. Yes, Avatar is just that awesome. So I'm keeping it short. Let me know if you like it."
Yes! Avatar is just that awesome.
That's so
Ultra
great.
Dated. Circa 2008 or whatever the fuck it
That's
was.
hilarious, dude.
Holy shit.
Oh, man.
Avatar is just that awesome.
That's hilarious.
Man, you're a big nerd. I love you so
I
much.
guess.
So
amazing.
what do you guys want? Do you want me to start now, or do you want me to do you want to do a special day? Do you want the 760 word preview, and then we'll save the 3,000 word essay for next week?
Oh my god. Don't do the 3,000. That's going to honestly take too long.
So we're getting kind of half and half here.
Let's just hit the 700 one now, and then we can figure out the other
All
shit
right,
later.
fine. And again, do you want me to have the text on screen, or do you want me just to read? I don't even know who these characters are, so I don't even know if I'm doing the right voices or anything like that. So
You got to leave our reactions up. This is a reaction stream now.
all right. Keep the faces
no.
on screen.
I don't
Okay.
remember most of the characters either.
But it was so awesome, David. Avatar was that awesome.
I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
Man, you must have been going through some stuff.
All right. Here we go.
For sure.
Let's read the first one here.
All right,
So you guys ready for this? The first one here. You ready for this?
I'm
All
ready.
right.
I'm so ready.
I woke up in the VA hospital. Ugh. What year is it? My legs are itchy, but I don't know. I can't feel the blanket down there. What happened? How long have I been here? God, are they ever gonna let me leave? Screw them. I'm just gonna get up and run out. I accidentally let my scream go audible. A nearby nurse chuckled and reached for my IV. That ended that day pretty quick. My eyes turned back in my head to those dreams of green again. The trees were running under me, running in like a race, running like a man caught in a flood trying to get to higher ground. Or maybe the trees were the flood? I saw more trees in a 5-minute dream than I'd seen in the last 5 years. And more running than I guess I'd do in the next 5, too. Let my dreams never end, I thought. I want to stay forever in my dreams. I want my dreams to be my life. At least that way I can get some fresh air. One of these days, someone's going to come by and tell me it's time to wheel my broken ass out of this wasteland and head back home. The only green I'll ever see there is my face in the mirror, I thought. I mean, the jealous kind, because if I'm looking in a mirror, that means I'm awake. And if I'm awake, I'm jealous of myself from later that night where I'd be able to sleep and finally get back to living. I swear when this is all over, the last color I'm going to see in the mirror is pink. I woke up in the VA hospital again. This time there were more faces nearby. One leaned over me. It was a pretty face, but I could tell even through my haze that it had been seen its share of years in trouble. Isn't that how things go in the military, I thought? You got a life and they take it from you like it's theirs, which I guess it is. Why'd she sign up for this place? Her hair was thin and fiery. That's about right, I thought. Hey, I know you can hear. Come on. Leave me alone, bastards. Take my life from me and won't even let me sleep. Let me dream of green and running. Let me fly through the air. Let me pretend I'm real for a little longer before I see my legs again. Bastards, I want to dream my life away. I want my dreams to be my life. Jake, wake up. That was a pretty crazy stunt, Marine. Marine, I felt my body trying to jump until it remembered it was broken. I smelled antiseptic and tasted soap. What year is it? Let the guy sleep a little longer. I've seen this before. There can be a serious reaction when a very strong mind is thrust into a separate neural network. It wants to reorganize its new brain immediately, and that can lead to temporal disorganization in the mind itself. I can't believe he ran that far. And frankly, it's amazing that he managed to wake up and even talk a bit before collapsing. Like, I don't know my own research, Max. Look, I don't think we have to worry about this idiot having that level of brain power, okay? Actually, and this is very exciting, if I can show you his charts. The voices droned out and I began to hear whispering instead. Whispering like thousands of people chattering in some foreign language through one of those old telephones left face up at the other end of the museum. I know it's weird, but I swear, I could hear smiles. I opened up my eyes again and talked about without thinking. It was real, wasn't it, Dr. Augustine? I felt the earth with my toes. Oh my God, it was real. It's real, all right. Except that wasn't Earth, Marine. Wake up. Don't you remember where you are? I lifted my head and smiled. Yeah, I remember. I just don't know if I'm done dreaming. The end.
Well, good job, James. You did the best that you could with the material.
Green, like my face. Get it in the mirror. Green. Yeah, did you get that green?
That was not the best.
That was definitely the best.
Does this
incredible writing?
Does this sound familiar at all to you, David?
It honestly doesn't, but I mean, it's got to be me. Just based on that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That part was not the best.
That was incredible.
Some parts of it, I honestly think, pretty good, but other parts, definitely.
Oh, my dreams to be real.
Oh man! All right.
Good job, David. I'm proud of you,
buddy. Yep, that was a tough time.
You made it through. That's all that matters.
Hey, man.
Was I high?
Oh, go ahead.
So I mentioned this when we when we first talked about this, but the reason that I cared about Avatar at all was that a girl broke up with me like right before I saw it, and I was like really upset. And so some things when something like that happens, just like take on more meaning for whatever reason. I had a friend who was extremely into the movie Dude, Where's My Car? For exactly the same reason.
No, I mean
he thought it was the best movie. We were like, what are you? But
Dude, it's interesting that you mentioned that. My brother, there was one time, I think it was at his high school or something, he lost his wallet. And, as a kid, when you're a teenager or whatever, that's kind of traumatic and it's very upsetting and it's frustrating. You had a lot of money. Well, like $10, $20 for a teenager. That was a lot of money. And it was very depressed. And my best friend in junior high took me and my brother and treated us at our little dollar theater to see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And it cheered him up so much that, like, to this day, it's still one of his favorite movies of all time. And I mean, it's a great movie anyway. But, for him, it was like amazing just because, it meant so much that my friend did that, and it cheered him up so much. So just like these fanfics cheered us all up on the
green screen. Like my face. Like now it's not green. It was green. It was actually green until I said that. Now it's not.
Now, see, that was only 760 words. We have about, let's say, 4,000, 300, 4,300, like another 7,500 words to go.
Oh, Jesus
between
Christ.
all of these. So.
It's a funny bit, but I don't know if it's 7,000 words.
It's not worth all that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another one that's only 512 words, so maybe we could do that.
I mean, if you want to have like a special stream where you do it, that's cool, but maybe not on the Tuesday show. It's a lot.
All right, we'll have people vote on that. Do they want to hear the next 3,700? We do it once a week. 3,787 words on the next one.
I mean,
You'll be streaming that by yourself.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, but I don't know if I'd stick around for that.
Oh man, okay.
It's all good, DJ Blues. It was a crappy few weeks or whatever it was until I felt better about it. But,
I mean, let's just put it this way. This is the way the 3,000 one starts, and this is a bunch of the words in there. It says, I loved Avatar, but I wish certain parts of it were explained with a little more depth than was possible in a regular length film. This is a collection of the human characters.
With the furry sex.
Yeah, this is a collection of the human characters' video logs that give more background and believability to the personalities and actions of characters of both races and introduce some story arcs and twists that either build upon or weren't in the original film. As I imagine them, there are complex characters whose actions have much more weight behind them than just a new love, a sudden change of heart, an evil hatred, or a profit motive. I'd appreciate it if you let me know what you think. Check back soon for new chapters.
That's definitely I'm being so explicit there that like I'm just imparting meaning to this stuff that actually doesn't exist. It's like very explicit in that statement that like I'm like forcing there to be meaning when there's not.
Oh man.
Makes sense considering the time.
All right. Any case, that's all for the day, I think.
Yay.
So let us definitely bird ourselves.
Bird them.
There you go. You guys can hear that, right?
You can.
Yeah, all right, perfect. And as soon as the birds come on, so do my cats. They're here, so they're like, you know what, that's food time.
Have a good one, everybody.